वयं संपूर्णतः समाप्तं कृतवन्तः वयम्। अतः तेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः मम धन्यवादान् प्रकटीकर्तुम् इच्छामि। अनन्तरं भवन्तः अपि अत्र आन्लैन् माध्यमे केचन प्रथमदिनतः अत्र अवर्तन्त, केचन मध्ये oh I heard about your Sanskrit class, can I join iti somewhere after a few months ते अपि प्रायः किञ्चित् कष्टम् अनुभूतवन्तः। अतः so you have mixed experiences. अस्माकम् उद्देशः एवम् अस्ति. I don't claim this mechanism to be simple. I don't claim this to be effective. I want to learn more because I'm still not sure how effective we are. This is happening. And just because a few people are benefiting from this doesn't mean everybody is benefiting equally. There are some problems. Some people may grasp things better. Others may or may not be able to grasp. So I'm still learning from all of you. I want to learn. Katham karaniyam agrima varshe. So again, agrima varshe punaha sasyam lata malati kamalam iti चत्वाराः कक्ष्याः पुनः वयं स्थापयामः। अतः तत्र नूतन विचाराः किमपि सन्ति वा इत्यादि विषयान् यत्किमपि भवतां मनस्सु सन्ति तत् कृपया संकोचेन विना प्रकटीकुर्वन्तु इति मम प्रार्थना अस्ति। अतः feel free, don't be shy, say whatever you want. भवतां शिक्षकः भानु महोदयः अनन्तरं हरिप्रिया भगिनी, I got a lot of feedback from you about them and all of you like them very much. I know that. So I appreciate that feedback that I received over the last 1 year, 1.5 years. So any feedback you have, I'll turn it over to you. I'm all ears. I made some notes. Aham Shukravasare Lata Vargena Saha Militavan Te api Aneke Vicharan Dattavantaha Samyak Charcha Asit, and I will tell you some of the ideas they have given me. So we'll start with you and then we'll continue the discussion. Bhanu Mahodaya.
धन्यवादः महोदय। Astu, we'll go in an order that we have. Usha Mahodaya, Bhavati Prathame Asti Mama Sanganake, Krupaya Bhavatyaha Vicharan Suchetu.
Namaste. Sarvebhyah, namaste. My spoken Sanskrit is very weak. I have actually, I was one of those who joined late, so it was a lot of catching up at first, but I found the entire experience very useful. This is it's been very successful for me in the sense that I came from zero to position where now I can actually comprehend when I hear, at least get a better idea of what's being said if I may not know entirely all the words. So I have actually nothing to add to this experience. For me, the difficulty has been the timing that cannot be helped, because in Malaysia, and I'm the only one here, so it's just for me, I don't expect any changes to be made. But sometimes my personal situation, etc., has affected my ability to attend the classes. But other than that, it's been a very good experience. I appreciate the homework actually, because I would tend to not apply what I've studied if not for that. So although sometimes there's lot of homework to be done, just by the rote of having to do it, there is comprehension. There is an ability to apply what has been taught. So that I mean, so I have no issues with the homework. It has helped me in learning the language. And I am really, really, happy particularly when it comes to slokams and etc., to be able to actually comprehend what I am saying, what slokam, what prayers are being said to the deity. I actually finally have a conversation as opposed to just mumbling things I've been asked to say. So really, I don't see, and the teachers have been really good. I am used to being pressured to perform. And so my whole approach sometimes is very taxing. And where the teachers say, it's okay, never mind. It's a new experience sometimes to just say, at this age, I don't want pressure anymore. So I'm saying I really welcomed Banu Mahodaya's approach, where he was very kind. So it's even when it comes to exams per se, I'm really thinking twice whether I want to put myself through it, simply because of my personal approach to exams. I make life miserable for myself. So I would love to learn. I want to learn the language. I want to learn it for myself. I don't need, I don't need a certificate. I'm not looking to acquire any of those. I want a peaceful life where I'm learning something I enjoy. So that's my approach. Okay, thank you.
So in terms of time, Malaysia, Deshe, Idanim, Prayaha, Idanim Kaha Samayaha?
11. It's 2.5 hours ahead. So sometimes, because there's work the next day, it finishes at 12. After a class, it's difficult to wind down immediately. So sleep is a little later, so it does affect, but it's not a big deal. I can manage that.
Very nice of you to join from Malaysia.
Dhanyawadaha Mahoday. I don't, based on your handwriting, I don't think it's the first time you wrote Devanagari. It's so beautiful. Yours and Rita Mahodaya's. When I look at your homeworks, I feel like reading it again and again. It's so beautiful.
Oh my. It's probably because, like a kindergarten child, I'm forming my letters. So as you get familiar, you tend to have, the cursive, you lose some of that original. So I'm kindergarten when it comes to Devanagari. So probably why the letters, I'm so worried that I'm not forming them well, but I'll try to maintain it. Thank you.
Dhanyawadaha. Harsha Mahoday, Krupya Vadatu.
Namaste, Jayakumar ji, Acharya, Sarvebhyaha. Vayam Acharya, very wonderful, and the patience they have, and even whenever we have a problem, they didn't mind, and very lovingly, kindly, politely, they explain us again and again. Sometimes we are asking same questions, in same group. Once it is answered, but they are never and so we have to learn all these things also with the language, and that's a very wonderful experience. And all the Charibhya students, they are also very nice and very cooperative, coordinating. It's very nice. So I think learning Sanskrit with all those things, we never get anywhere like that. So I'm really enjoying And really, your effort is also very good. And I am learning so many new things. In spite of Sanskrit, we are learning so many things, like whatever our history, whatever things we supposed to be proud of our Bharat, we are learning with all these things. And if everyone has all these things in their mind, then really the days come that we all create or proud in others' mind also about our Sanskriti. So it's very wonderful journey to me. And timing is okay also, morning, evening. And both the time, whenever I get a chance, I also join the Bhanu Mohodaya class also in the morning, because my job is a part-time. So it's all the timings are different all the time. But it's really enjoying, and you are doing a very wonderful job. So thank you so much, everyone.
So I agree with Harshaji, Bhanu Mohodaya and Haripriya. Their patience beats everybody else's.
Yeah,
and
right.
this is, that's a given. That's a true beyond doubt. And so that's very much needed. Prathamasthare, especially Prathamasthare, the beginning stages, that when everybody is just beginning to learning to stand up, baby is learning to stand up and walk, crawl and then stand up is the most difficult part of the period of the growth, and then walking. Once it walks and starts running, after that, less problem. But getting up, falling down, breaking the head, and all these things constantly going on and on. Thankfully, the child heals very, very fast. So even a little bit of blood here and there is okay. But I've realized that. That support is very much important from teachers and from core students. And so there is a Asmakam Purvajaha Uktavantaha Acharyat Padam Adatte. Acharyat Padam Adatte. Padam, 1/4 Acharyat comes from the teacher. Padam Shishya Swamedhaya. Swamedhaya. So another 1/4 comes from the student's own effort. Swamedhaya. We can't keep on complaining teacher is not teaching. Hey, what is the effort you are putting? That also we are periodically you have to ask. That too in Sanskrit. Anantaram, Padam Swabrahmachari. 1/4 comes from classmates. In school, we used to. This is how we used to spend so much time together and fight or drink, eat or drink or study or whatever. We don't know what we did, but somehow that was a very important part of our growing up and learning. That aspect, is missing. So it can be missing from this kind of a. That is missing actually. Kintu somehow I'm looking for ways. How can we provide that? Through online, through breakout rooms, etc. In Zoom, Zoom has breakout rooms, I think. So we have not really taken advantage of the breakout rooms, and so those things we have to do. And I want to learn how to do it. I've never done it myself, but many people have told me that they do it or we should do it. And any other ideas we have? Somebody suggested, there are a few people from Australia. They should get together, and from Sydney they should get together and do something. That's a great idea. I didn't think of that. Or people in Bangalore. Bangalore always, they're always a majority. Wherever I go, Bangalore people are a majority. I don't know what is it about Bangalore. Huh? Other people don't want to learn Sanskrit or what? So Bangalore people should figure out something and tell us what they can do. And Anantaram Itihasa Karyam Iti Harsha Bhagini Uktavati. So that history project. So Narayanan is there, Anantaram Madhavi, and a few others are also there in that history team. Chaitra is also there, I think. Yeah. And then a few others. I thought I saw some others here. So anyway, so that history project, we are working with the Andhra Pradesh state government now. and reviewing their textbooks, etc. So that's what she's referring to. So we're trying to, in whatever little way we can contribute, we are doing that. So thank you, Harsha Bhagini.
One more thing, the tutorial classes, it's also really helpful. Karthik Mahodaya, Meera Mahodaya, so they are doing wonderful. And I think because of the tutorial class, we come to more closer as all the students, we are coming very closer with this. And Priti Mahodaya also, she was also wonderful and very helping. So this is very, that's also a good part of our Sanskritam.
Definitely.
That's actually a good Kshamyata, Vadat Mahodaya.
Yeah, Meera and then Preeti and others have, Karthik and others have coordinated the Abhyasa classes. Definitely, very important, I believe.
That's a good segue into the next people, Meera Mahodaya and Narayan Mahodaya. Please share your feedback. They have been extremely helpful both as tutors during Friday's session, as well as helping others prepare for the exam, in spite of they themselves taking the exam. I think they are about to take Siksha exam now. So we have to thank them a lot for spending so much time with all of us. Krupaya vadantu. Vadataha.
Namo Namaha Mahodaya. Gurave Namaha. Haripriya Mahodaya atra nasti. Namo Namaha. Samskruta Kaksha Mayam Bahu Rochate. Bhanu Mahodasya Patana Shaili Atyuttama. Griha Karya Nirmanam Kartum Sulabha Nasti Vayam Janimah. Tadapi Bhavatah Bhaginyaha Sarve Uttamaritya Sahayam Kritavantaha. Kinchit Sambhashanam Kaksha api Prarambham Karotu iti mama prarthana Mahodaya. Thank you for everything. Dhanyavadaha.
Sarvebhyo namaskaraha. Bhanu Mahodasya शिक्षणं बहु सम्यक् आसीत्. हम परीक्षा न लिखितवान्. अहं शिक्षा परीक्षा एतद् मासे लेखिष्यामि. महोदय कक्षाया बहु प्रयत्नं कृतवान्. भवान् पाठनं बहुत क्षमेन कृतवान्. He takes a lot of effort. He is very, very patient. I don't have this kind of patience. Thank you. I think that is a very, very highly appreciable quality. He is able to come down to every person's level, to their level of understanding, and try to explain clearly to their level of understanding. I think that's a very, very good attribute of Bhanu Mahodaya. Thank you for everything, Bhanu Mahodaya.
Ati Shantaritya Patham Kritavanta.
Satyam. Yada aham Sasyam Patayitavan Varshatrayam Purvam Anantaram Lata Kaksha Tada Bhanu Mahodaya api asit tatra. So he also taught me what Shama is. While he was my student, he taught me also. So I remember that very well. I agree with you. I validate what you said. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha. Madhavi Mahodaya, Krupaya Bhavatyaha Vicharan Suchayatu.
So, in the best interest of time, I'm not going to repeat everything that everybody else said, but just want to highlight a few points. First of all, a big thank you to Arsha Seva Kendram and the teachers and the volunteers because I've talked to people who have taken these classes at other places. I can tell there is a huge difference in the standard. What we have learned in the last close to 1 year, it's beyond the Pravesha exam. So a big thank you. And when it comes to our teachers, I want to highlight 2 points. I was in Haripriya Mahodaya's class. I heard that she wakes up at 3:30 in the morning and gets ready to take the classes at 4:30 or so for a time. I mean, that's unbelievable. It's just a pure dedication, right? So it's a passion. So I thoroughly enjoyed their classes. But I have also watched Bhanu Mahodaya's videos because initially I was very regular to the classes, but in the second half of the sessions, it was a little challenging for me to be live and join all the classes. So I was so dependent on the videos. I agree with everybody. Bhanu Mahodaya's teaching style, and he's so calm, and the way he explained and clarified all the doubts. So both the teachers did an excellent job. We were so lucky to have these two as our teachers. So those 2 points. So one thing I liked very much is the videos. I couldn't really take advantage of the tutorials, but I heard a lot of good things. But it's just my time and my availability because I work full time and I have other commitments too. So, but the videos, making those videos available, I learned 50% of my learning was through videos. So I really appreciate continuing those videos, making them available. Even the tutorials at the end of the class, right before the exams, I was watching some of the tutorial videos. So they were really helpful. So I appreciate all that. Only thing I want to mention, again, this is just to give some feedback, is giving returning the homeworks, at a regular interval will be really helpful, because somebody like me who couldn't really join all the classes, having the feedback on my homework will be really helpful. I should admit that, in the later part of the year, I couldn't even submit all my homeworks. I missed a lot of them. But in spite of all that, I was able to take the exam only because of the teachers and, the way they taught and the videos that were available. So, but again, I want to point out all the experience part that others mentioned, that more than, what we get in the exam, like what points or marks we get in the exam, it's the experience. I see myself at a different level now compared to a year ago when it comes to Sanskrit. When I'm chanting slokas, when I'm chanting anything in Sanskrit, now I can pick up the words. They started making sense to me. I know we are at a very beginner's level, but they started making sense to us. So we really appreciate all the effort. Jayakumar ji, you have a wonderful team. Asha Seva Kendram is doing an excellent job. So I know no words can really do justice. But I also agree that maybe a little bit of sambhashanam, adding that to the classes will be helpful. Mainly somebody like me. I understand while reading, I understand everything, but when it comes to, spoken Sanskrit, that's where there is a huge gap for me. So maybe that will be helpful. I don't know how it will fit into the next level classes, but a little emphasis on that will be really helpful. So thank you all. We have a wonderful classmates, both Sasyam groups. We have a wonderful team. I'm really looking forward to the next level. Thank you.
Dhanyavadaha. So, Sambhashanam ityukte Sambhashana Abhyasaha. Abhyasam icchati. Kila? Abhyasam. So, some way to practice conversations more than what you've already seen in tutorial or in classes. Yeah.
You know, both Bhanu Mahodaya and Haripriya Mahodaya, they were encouraging us to speak in Sanskrit, but it's like, you know, we were learning at the same time speaking and you know, living in this country, English became like, you know, everything. So it was a little challenging. But maybe if it is part of the curriculum, maybe we'll put some extra effort into it, just to force somebody like me, you know. That's what I was thinking. That will be helpful.
Samyak, so we have discussed that. I have discussed that with all our teachers, Hayavardhan, Sandeep, Banu, and Haripriya, and so we are aware of it. They've already talked about a way to address that. So we'll have a separate Sambhashanam session, practice session, and it can even include all classes. Need not be just Sasyam, because as far as Sambhashanam is concerned, everybody is kind of going slowly. Ataha. So there is no question that somebody is much better than me, etc. And so it's sometimes it's good for us to hear somebody who is much better than us, and so that way we can immediately pick up. So we are planning something new. I'm praying that we'll establish something new, and then praying that will work well for all of us. So, धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः, Preeti Mahodaya. So there are several people who helped us make this class successful, the different tutors and all the graders. The one person who's worked in the background that many of you may not know and has helped me tremendously is Preeti Mahodaya, apart from helping her classmates. So she went out of her way when we began Sasyam to call her fellow classmates, made sure they knew what Google Classroom was, patiently walked them through how to scan homework, upload it to Google Classroom. I know that she called some people many I and she was hand-holding them like a dear friend. And the amount of help that she gives me in the background, I can only do namaskaram. Dhanyavadah. Krupya vadatu Mahodaya.
Namaste, Namaste, Jayakumar ji. Banu Mahodaya cha. Kim vadati Mahodaya. Kimapi na kritavati. Astu.
श्रूयते वा सर्वेभ्यः? सर्वे न श्रूयते
Mahodaya.
Network issues.
Yeah.
किं वदनीयं? सम्भाषणविषये न श्रूयते वा?
प्रीति महोदय वीडियो ऑफ करो.
न श्रूयते मा प्रीति महोदय.
Went off in emotional mode.
इदानीं श्रूयते वा?
आम् महोदय.
नमस्ते, इदानीं श्रूयते वा?
आम् श्रूयते.
हेलो, इदानीं श्रूयते वा?
सम्यक् श्रूयते, वदतु.
अस्तु अस्तु. सम्भाषणविषये लेखनविषये अपि मम अनुभवः किम् इति वक्तुम् इच्छामि. हरिप्रिया महोदय बहवः आपर्चुनिटीस् दत्तवती सम्भाषणं कर्तुम्, अपि च गृहपाठरूपेण बहु like there were a lot of opportunities to write, and my writing and mama lekhanam api cha sambhashanam, from that only it became little better, I would say. And the main thing is Haripriya Mahodaya kim kritavati iti, she made a very friendly environment in the class. Kopi वक्तुम् इच्छति चेत् सा न वदति एकनिमिषं न अहं वदामि, तत् सर्वं सा न कृतवती. बहु she will give an opportunity for everyone if you want to explain it, or if you want to. It is a very special quality in Haripriya Mahodaya. I don't know how to explain it. She won't hold you back. She knows so much, but she won't. Some teachers have the feeling, no, I should explain everything to the teacher, to the students, but she will give you the opportunity. It's a very special quality in her. And then the other thing I want to say is she made this skit. She wanted us to do skits and do katha. It is a very very beautiful. I think maybe Bhanu Mahodaya and Haripriya Mahodaya, they both joined together and planned it. But those sessions, our classmates, we all got together in groups of 4 and 5, and we all became very close at that time. It was a very nice opportunity. I think that's when we came to know all our classmates really well. So that is something which can be done in the future. Again, it was very enjoyable. Or we can even have breakout rooms and have small discussions, and then come back to the classroom and discuss at that time itself. So and Bhanu Mahadaya's homeworks were just amazing. I cribbed little bit that I had to do. Maybe I was spending 2 hours on homework, but in the end it was amazing. Now I can write so much in Samskrutam. I can take down notes in Samskrutam only because of Bhanu Mahadaya's very intensive homework. And I want to say thank you to everyone. I'm very happy to have joined. Like by some miracle, I found out about this class, and I'm very happy to be here with all these wonderful classmates and teachers and gurus, everyone. Dhanyawada.
धन्यवादः धन्यवादः बहु समीचीनम् अतः तत्र प्रायः अभ्यास अवकाशाः आवश्यकाः अतः तत्र चिन्तनीयं breakout rooms इत्यपि सन्ति कथं somebody has to train us, at least train me how to use breakout rooms effectively. I think that requires. Okay, Narayanji is raising his hand.
Yeah,
so I think
it's simple. It's simple.
Vijay, okay, Vijay says it's simple. That's
it is simple. It's fairly simple.
Very simple. Very simple.
Okay, okay. So we have to. So Bhanu is going to be teaching, and Haripriyaji also going to be teaching in the future. So we should probably have a separate session. I want to join the session and learn how to do that. And so that's a good suggestion. I think that's it's time to do it. So we'll definitely follow those suggestions. Dhanyawadaha. Thanks for helping out, Preeti Bhagini. And so occasionally I come to the news group and WhatsApp and or Signal and see, and then so I think Preeti, you've been coordinating this Samarohanam Utsava Vishayan Amshan Aham Patitavan Kinchite. Patitavan. Dhanyawadaha.
Dhanyawadaha.
धन्यवादः सुधा महोदय
Namaste everyone. With a lot of trepidation I entered this Sanskrit class. I thought I wouldn't last this long, but the patience of Bhanu Mahodaya, I know I'll be repeating the same words of Harsha, Madhavi, and Usha, at the risk of sounding, a repetitive thing. I would like to repeat the same words. As Usha said, now the shlokas that I recite make sense. And as Harsha Bhagni said, we are getting closer to our culture. And Madhavi told about conversation. I feel if we could have, along with the regular class, once a week a conversation class, it would be more helpful. Not that our teachers had not asked us to converse in Sanskrit, but then during the regular classes, it's more, we are trying to learn new things. And especially for me, I'm on the wrong side of 60. So learning a new language is quite a challenge for me. Yet the immense patience of Bhanu Mahodaya has helped me. In fact, just before the Pravesha exam, 6 weeks, I couldn't attend the classes. I could neither watch the video clippings. So just before the exam, I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. I sent a message to Bhanu Mahodaya, and he was the one who told me that I was prepared enough, and he had more confidence in me than I did. That's how I did the Pravesha exam. And the journey so far has been excellent, and I'm just looking forward for the next session to begin. A big thank you to all the teachers and Asha Seva Kendram. Dhanyawada.
धन्यवादः भगिनी. Very nice. So अतः point taken. तत्र किम् अंशः इत्युक्ते कक्षायां सम्भाषण अभ्यासः न भवति. कक्षायां वयं नूतन अंशान् स्मरणं कर्तुं प्रयत्नं कुर्मः. ओ दिस् वन् नोट्स् वयं लिखामः, किन्तु सम्भाषणं तु न कुर्मः. प्रायः वाक्यं वा वाक्यद्वयं वा वाक्यत्रयं वा, किन्तु सम्भाषणं न भवति. अतः सम्भाषण अभ्यास वर्गस्य आवश्यकः अस्ति इति श्रुतं. धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः. रीटा महोदय, कृपया वदतु.
नमस्ते जयकुमार जी. भानु महोदय, नमस्ते. When I joined Sasyam, that time I was looking for a platform that will give me a basic grammar and education so that I can read my Sanskrit Vangamaya better. My motto was, objective was to learn what is written in our Vedas, what is there in Upanishad and Puranas. So I was looking for a platform who could train me in grammar, how to understand that myself. I wanted to do it one-on-one. So I am very thankful to this platform, what I got. And the grammar portion was so beautifully taken up that there was a time when I should read the Vangamaya. Whenever I will start Vangamaya Parichay, I will be sucked into the grammar. I will sucked into the grammar. So it was getting an upper hand over the Vangamaya. So this was a beautiful journey because of our teachers. What did they, how did they encourage us? It was not only Harpriya ji, but I used to see the videos Bhanu Mahodaya ji was posting. So these two videos, my class and the video, was very much helpful to me, sir. And one thing I wanted to express here, that when the class is over and we would go to the slides and revise what is there, what was there in the class, and how to some parts I will feel that what was the teacher explained here, and then I will again go to the video and find that portion, and then I will listen to the teacher. Oh, this was the explanation. So I wish to express here something. Maybe I'm not right to express, but I needed a book, sir, where I can go to that book, maybe a PDF form, where all these explanations are there. Suppose we are learning about Ratvam. So Ratvam, we know when the class was over, little forgotten. And when 2-3 days over, it was all gone. So where to find that explanation about the Ratvam? So I wanted a PDF sort of book, not hardbound, photo Xerox paper, and then all vibhaktis before we learn, and what are the means where should we use the tritiya, where should we use shashti. So I was in a very beginning stage. I had never learned Sanskrit after my 7th or 8th class. So this was something I wanted. So book, if possible, we can have a book, PDF form, maybe 8 to 10 pages, 15 pages. So where if I have to revise Radatvam, I will go back to the Radatvam page and I will read, oh, this is there, and this I should take care while making Nat Urang. So this was my need at that time. Maybe others are doing well, sir, but I am at a very beginning stage. So I felt that this may be helpful. Other means my teacher was very helpful. Haripriya Acharya Mohade, she would not give you the spoon feeding. She will leave you into the pool and will say, you swim, I'm here. She will not give you the sentence formation initially, but she will say, you do your own. I'm here to correct you. So she made us independent how to begin your things, how to explore other things where you are lacking. You contact your other teachers, you see other videos, and next class when you will join, you will feel that, oh, I am better prepared. So her way of teaching was very different. And when I see Bhanu Mohade's videos, it is all so comfortable and cool that whatever I was lacking there, I will find here. So both these things made me very comfortable in learning this Deva Bhasha. So Mama Kritagyata Arsha Seva Kesdeste Krite Asti, and I'm very much thankful, sir, to give me this platform. Thank you so much.
Bahu Samyak Bagini. Bhavati Kutra Vasati Bagini?
Mumbai Nagri Vasati.
Mumbai. Bahu Samyak. Shrutam Tatra Pustakasya Kinchit Punasmaranartham reference. Punasmaranartham immediate reference. Forgotten. Mattum forgotten. Now quickly within 5 minutes I know I can catch up. So where can I pick up? Some references there. Vayam पूर्वं यदा अहं पाठयितवान् तदा तत्र अहं गृहकार्यसमये तत्र अहं पुस्तके यत्र पाठः भवति तत्र पुस्तकस्य पृष्ठसंख्या इत्यादि अहं पूर्वं दत्तवान् आसम्. इदानीं we'll find a way to impress this upon all teachers, that when you teach something, make sure the proper text is available. First of all, it has to be available in some text, if not the main text. Some text should be there, and that text should be pointed to. So that's a good feedback. Yeah. Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyavadah Mahoday. So for Vibhakti reference, Vibhakti Vallari is a good book, and from that we did all the homeworks on Vibhaktis from that book only. So if you want a quick reference on when to use which Vibhakti, please refer to Vibhakti Vallari. I get your broader feedback about an easier reference. We will work on that. Dhanyavadah.
Just now, Pritamji has given the Natvam book is with Samskruta Bharati.
Astu.
अहं जानामि एक लघु पुस्तकमस्ति संस्कृतभारत्याः नत्वम् इति जानामि.
Kalabodhini book also
आं
very good.
महोदय अत्र अस्ति महोदय पुस्तकं बहु लघु पुस्तकमेव
अस्तु धन्यवादः चैत्र महोदय विराज महोदय कृपया वदतु
नमस्कारः सर्वेभ्यः well I think I mean I entered the Sasyam class with very bare minimum knowledge about Samskrita. It was a it was like a dream for me to learn Samskrita, as I was also learning some other shlokas and all. And so the first thing what really touched me was this absolute conducive environment. I mean, I cannot emphasize enough on importance of a conducive environment for any learner. It could be at a school level, it could be at a preschool level, a school level, or a college level. That unconditional acceptance of the student, at which level he or she is, right? Because when I was introducing myself and my other classmates, I mean, there were people from different backgrounds, and who had some of them had kind of written an exam and who were more advanced learners. So initially I thought, okay, so I'm here, and then with just I mean, I don't know anything about Samskrita, so how I'm going to learn that? But I guess as I started learning, and as I started interacting with my classmates and of course Banu Mahodaya, I felt very comfortable. So that that setting of that conducive environment and that unconditional acceptance of the teacher goes a long way. It goes a long way, and I just took to Samskritam like how a fish takes to water. So that was, I think, very, very important thing for me. And even it could be like, setting these goals for a student, setting like first you have the short-term goals, and then, the long-term goals, the homeworks, the graded homeworks, from simple to, slightly more complex. I mean, I have said it earlier also, I absolutely enjoyed the homeworks. And it was like, and especially the essays also. I mean, coming from a math and science background, I never in my wildest dream, I thought I would actually love history. But I think I'm glad that, we got to read about, very great personalities. It could be Ahilya Bai Holkar, it could be, many other people, that I actually fell in love with history, So I'm very much grateful for those homeworks. And yeah, and especially in the class again, I think as of course, most of my classmates have, said it, the incredible patience of Banu Mahodaya. I honestly don't know from where he gets that. But I mean, just hats off to that, because, when each learner is at a different level, and when a teacher teaches something and one particular student gets it, the other one is not able to. And then the teacher has to quickly change his or her strategy. And then, go down to that level, to that particular student's level. It could be giving examples. It could be, kind of asking even the right kind of questions to the student, which enables the student to think for himself or herself and answer. So I think that was also very, very beneficial. I mean, I found that, very, yeah, that helped me learn a lot. And yeah, I mean, and again, of course, when I also am a part of the history group also, and I'm very thankful to Banu Mahodaya again. I mean, I can't thank him enough, because I think my mere dhanyavadaha or, thank you is just not enough. So, yeah, I mean, I feel I'm very privileged to be a part of, Arsha Seva Kendram. And it was just a message which I think Jayakumar Mahodaya or someone has shared in another group, so from there I got to know about Asha Seva Kendram, and then Viraj and I, we joined the classes. I'm just so much grateful, and I look forward to, learning more. And yeah, that's all. So Dhanyavadaha Banu Mahodaya, Dhanyavad Sarvedya, Dhanyavadaha, Dhanyavada Jayakumar.
बहु धन्यवादः. बहु सम्यक्. विराज महोदय कथं प्रचलति सर्वं?
सम्यक् महोदय. कृतज्ञता Jayakumar ji, Banuma, and Haripriya Mahodaya. We have not heard much from her, but few sessions we listened to her. I think we will get a chance to interact with her too. But just looking back, right? So I was talking to Banuji initially, like, because once you say Samskrutam, everybody has so much background. In a sense, we start with an expectation of Panini and Sutra and Banu. I can say Banu, I think, for this conversation. So I used to ask him when he's Vidya, like even the Bhakti, when they started, he was not using the word Bhakti. Then, so that is the phase he said. He just said that you just come to class, do the homework, then we'll just move in this, like a child just learns the language. And we felt that way. And in each class, it was like there is a learning. There was a concept introduced. So you feel like if you miss something, then there is no continuity. So you have to catch up. So that I think he was able to keep that thing. And in the class, I think he had an equal opportunity to everybody. And somehow he used to make everybody associate, in a sense, like just Chaitra was saying, that some people may know something. And I generally have seen in the class that group, generally it becomes like some people know, some people don't know, that kind of thing. But to keep a group where everybody feels that they're comfortable, they can contribute, in a sense, they can learn, to make sure that happens. Is I don't know, you people, I think in the background discuss a lot, and other things I'm sure, because the methodology, I was just looking back, and at the end of our course, we were doing Pravesha, and even one was saying that don't look at the grammar part in the Pravesham, in the Samskrita Bharati book, just look at the exercises. So we were seeing the difference, why there is an approach needed, because I think Dayananji, we all, whoever has listened to him, know that teaching is a different thing, right? So unfolding and making one see is a different thing. One knows, knowing a lot of things is good, and everybody wants to get the whole thing in the first day, everybody wants to get everything. So, but that is not practical, right? So, but to go through that is a different thing, and that needs an interaction. I think that where we have a reverence, and we know that you are there in the background, then there is a Banuji in the intermediary. So there is a connection that if you are not getting here, there is a more persons involved here. So I think all that thing, and people in the group with different background, and you see like many aged people with different things, they are coming here and spending time, right? So one thing, that's what I felt, that one was initially, I think you were saying that Saraswati is a very jealous kind of thing, right? You have to dedicate, otherwise you will not get it. So I think we felt that it's not just that just may come to class and show that you are interested is a different thing. But if you want to learn, then you have to spend time, and that only that time are you were saying that 4 padas and all. So those things, I think everybody was able to see that those 4 parts are there in a learning, and each one has to, wherever they are, they have to give more time to that part which they are not had. And good thing is that's what 1 year we had where Sandhi was not introduced. So I was wondering how come when all the other Sanskrit sessions, wherever it happens, I see that first time they say with Sandhi they start, and so that kind of planning, that there are 3 or 4 years kind of time is needed, and one can make sure that why that time is needed, and all that needs a good planning. And I think people have really spent time. I was thinking today that just looking at what all we learned, and also there was a methodology and all that. So I think at some point we'll get it, I think. So whatever thought happened to that, I just want to be part of it at some point, because unfolding is a different thing, I think. So we are in the learning stage, and at some point we want to catch that other part of the communicating and how this happens, because the Samskruti has to remain, and learning is one part, but unfolding also we need to get it right. So I think that part slowly, whatever way we get it, we want to learn it. Yeah, feedback wise, not many things at this moment. Online things help, and we do at home. That way, I think other advantage was, if it was a physical thing, we may not have to went together and all that. So, so there are other benefits. I feel at home it was a good conducive thing. You can interact. So there is now a topic to discuss, and so there is so many things, right? Because our culture has so many festivals coming in, shloka coming in. So now there is a context to talk to other person, and there is, so you see that maybe with my work or something, I may have skipped some of the things, but now you see other person at home is working on it. So I can't say I'm attending the class without doing the proper thing. So, and I think you also spoke to both of us at some point, and all that, there was an involvement, and there was a journey, and we were really fortunate to be part of it. So, dhanyawad.
Dhanyawad.
Dhanyawad. Thanks for that feedback. And, so, survey kashtan anubhutavantah. One thing is very clear. All of you struggled. All of you worked hard. Even somebody said 2 hours itself was too difficult. So 2 hours also is difficult. 3 hours also to work is difficult. 4 hours, 5 hours, definitely difficult. Asmin kale, asmin yuge, kali yugaha iti vadanti sarve. Atra kalasya nyunatvam asti. Nobody has time. Kalaha nasti eva. Time seems to be running away. Ataha आरंभे यदा सस्यं कक्षा आरब्धं तदा प्रायः कक्षायां 80 वा 90 वा 100 छात्राः आसन्. सो 100 संख्यातः इदानीं प्रायः 50 वा सन्ति. So half, there's been attrition of half, correct? Many reasons can be there. And so you can see all dots have to kind of line up. It's not easy. Sarvaha devataha asman palayantu iti pratana asti. That's why we start every class with a prayer, because there is no guarantee that the teacher is going to be effective. The teacher has to be loving, and the students have to like what is going on, and the liking has to continue class after class after class for some time until it, so it gels everything. So it's too many things have to fall in line. Too many things, and that's why I'm always thankful. Something like this happened means it's definitely we have the blessings of our acharyas. Thanks for that feedback, Viraj and Chaitra.
Dhanyawadaha. So Viraj Mahodaya, Sandhis are coming in the next year, so be prepared. Astu. Sundari Mahodaya, Kripya vadatu.
Namah Shivaya, everybody. Mama Nama Sundari, Aham Coimbatore Nagare, Amrita Vishwa Vidya Petasya Sankule Vasami, Sasyam Trini Samsvyapyasam Samyak Abhavat, Aham Agri Vargaya Panchikaranam Karishyami. Dhanyawadaha Haripriya Mahodaye, Dhanyawadaha Bhanu Mahodaya, and Dhanyawadaha Jayakumar Mahodaya. My humble maiden attempt in Sanskrit. Now I had two difficulties. I had learning the alphabet from that day when I joined the Sasyam. For me, doing the homework, initially, I did have some issues, but somehow the interest was so much that I managed to do all the homework, all the 60 homeworks I have completed. And I did the exam also very well. And I attended the morning class by Haripriya Mahodaya. She used to give a lot of practice. Every class I used to get at least 5 to 6 opportunities to frame sentences. And so I feedback. It has been happening very, very well. And especially a person like, a person close to 70, writing an homework for 2 hours continuously is going to be difficult. So what I used to do is split it for half an hour. And then I started becoming very regular. Monday a little bit, Tuesday a little bit, Wednesday a little bit. And then by the time, the deadline is there, one day before I used to submit more. I think a lot of discipline also has happened. And there is a China sense, that has been brought out. You feel so happy. Every time, when an assignment is submitted, you look forward to seeing the mark. And, when you get a good mark, you feel so happy. So that becomes a motivation. And also, if you don't get that much high marks, you tend to sit again and then go through the video and then redo everything. So I think the childlike innocence was through this class is something really beautiful, very beautiful. And as many of them pointed out, now the chanting of Sahasranama and all the slokas, I think I see a lot of it because now I'm able to use the Samskrita script and I'm able to manage. So thank you so much, Haripriya Mahodaya, Banu Mahodaya, Jayakumar Mahodaya. Dhanyawada.
Dhanyawada. Aksharam, Devanagari Aksharam Ajñatva Panjikritavati va bhavati. Did you join without knowing to read Devanagari script? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I know only the Swara and Vyanjana Aksharani. And just before joining the Samskrutam class, my daughter made me write every day 1, 2, 3 pages. And that's how I was able to catch up.
Bahu samyak. Bahu samyak. Atra vayam charcham kritavantah. Atra sasyam yadi Devanagari tu ज्ञातव्यम एव पंजीकरणात् पूर्वम्. अतः we don't teach letters, teach a, e, e, etc. अतः that's why I was very curious. How did you manage? So mama कक्षायाम् अपि एका आसीत्, एका छात्रा आसीत्, सा देवनागरी न ज्ञातवती. I didn't know that. Somehow she entered the class. I didn't realize, she didn't realize. And so class was going on and she couldn't read. So then we had to, take it offline and things like that. So amazing that you could pick it up. Yeah.
Fortunately, you suggested, get the help from Vidya. So that helped me. She gave me just before the commencement of the class, 1 month, she gave me some exercises. So I was pretty comfortable right from the class 1. But I used to write slightly slowly, as somebody was telling, like a pre-KG child trying to write the cursive writing. And then slowly, I even got from somebody, your handwriting is samyak. I don't know. Maybe wanted to, encourage me. Anyway, thank you so much because I learned a lot over this 1 year. So I'm waiting for the next class.
Dhanyavadaha. Kada bhavatyaha putri kada panjikaroti?
Yes.
Pratama kakshyam sa asit khalo? Vidya pratama sasyam sa api panjikritavati khalo? Vidya, she had registered for Sasyam too, no?
She has finished even that IIT Roorkee Samskrita Bharati. That exam also she completed.
Right.
So she used to help me in my exam also. So she did a lot of questioning and all that.
Samyak. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya. Lakshmi Mahodaya.
So recently, we all met Sundari Mahodaya, then Vijay Mahodaya. So they all came. Vijay came from Bangalore. Many of us came, and somebody suggested we should come to Coimbatore and we should have a gathering. So, Sarve Chintayantu, sometime or the other, I would like all of you to, those who have not come, please come to Coimbatore. It's a nice place to visit. It will be a good change from wherever you are, and we should definitely meet. So, just in case I forget to tell you, thought I'll mention that. Dhanyavada.
Namaste, Jayakumar Guruji. Namaste, Bhanu Mahodaya. And a big thanks to Meeraji and Narayanji. They were the ones who have introduced me to Asha Seva Kendram. I'm so thankful to them. Thank you, Meera and Narayanji. And Mahodaya, what to say? Banu Mahodaya is pinnacle of patience. Actually, I am learning a lot from him. That is one thing. And Acharya Padama Adatte, Padam Shishya Swamedaya, and Sabrahmachari Biham Padam Kalakramena. This is very suitable for this Samskrita Kaksha because Acharya Banu Mahodaya is teaching us, and Swamedaya we are also doing. And in the tutorials, all of us join together. And homework, Meeraji and myself are joined together. And now even with this Samarohana, Samarambam also, Chaitra Mahodaya and myself, we are meeting to record a Geetam. So all that is being followed, Mahodaya. I want to assure you that. And actually, I started late with the Pravesha classes. But I learned a lot what I didn't learn during the time I wrote my Pravesha exam. Because now I am also doing my Shiksha exam on 27th. And, you know, like I can never forget Banu Mahodaya saying bhyam, 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 bihi, biha, biha. That will never go out of my mind. So, you know, he has made us, I'm not saying he didn't make us mug it up, but he made us understand it so well that we can never forget it. And, you know, the way he said, yo-ho, you know, these kind of small things are there in the mind. So this is wonderful. And, you know, Dirgam, you have to pull it like this. So that, you know, those kind of small things to remember, I think Banu Mahodaya has, you know, made us learn very well. I think the declination of anything, we can do it. Yes, and that is the basis. And homework, I really love it, even though sometimes it is long. I mean, because of my busy schedule. Last 5, 6, I couldn't submit, but otherwise I have submitted. And I have not bunked any of Banu Mahodaya's classes. I'm always there waiting for his class. And it is fantastic, Mahodaya. And ahamapi Samskriteva Vartalapam Kurmaha iti Sankalpam Kritavati Avashyakam Aham Karishyamaha. So I promised to you that. And of course, Shlokam and all, when I teach or when I learn it for myself, I'm able to learn much better. And the Anvaya Krama is, I mean, Guruji, you're teaching us so much in our Vedanta class. And it is becoming very easy. The Sandhi, split and all those things, we are able to understand it very well. And, you know, of course, Samskrita Bharati is doing yeoman service, but that 3-4 months is not sufficient to learn a language. Because, you know, in 1.5 hours, they finish one lesson. You know, that is the stipulated time they have. So whatever they have, they're doing their best. But this, you know, class which is conducted by Asha Seva Kendram is, I can say it is a holistic. It fully completes everything and everything is taken care of. Like how Chaitra said, Banu Mahodaya gives, you know, patient hearing to everyone of our questions. And, you know, he asks us to think and he also then gives the answer. My only request would be that, you know, the homework, once we have submitted, maybe the next time if somebody could give us the right answers where we have faltered or something like that, you know, that could be of use. That's what I thought. Because usually in some of the books, backside the answers are there. That could be reference. But when sentences are given from new, I mean, in future, Mahodaya, I'm saying. I mean, Pravesha, we didn't figure out any such things. We were making sentences and things like that. But in future, if some things are given from some other books, an answer key would always be nice. You know, by the next week, if you get it, so that it could be useful for self-correction also. Where we, for the next homework, we can always refer and do the needful. So that was the only suggestion I thought. And I'm Chira Runi to Asha Seva Kendram, to Jayakumar Mahodaya and Bhanu Mahodaya and all my Sahapartis. Thank you very much. Dhanyavada.
So for the homework, Kshamyatam, vadatu Mahodaya.
Bhavane vadatu Bhava.
So after you submit your homework, every week they are graded and they send the graded homework back to you. And when all the homeworks are graded, I look at the one that I think is the best one to be treated as an answer key, and I send it out. So you should have the answer key. If you have not been receiving it, let me know.
Astu Mahodaya. I've not been receiving it. Okay, Mahodaya. Dhanyavada.
Astu.
सम्यक् सङ्कल्पम् अपि कृतवती सम्भाषणं करिष्यामि इति सङ्कल्पमात्रं मास्तु डोंट स्टॉप विथ सङ्कल्प अभ्यासमपि करोतु
अस्तु महोदय अवश्यकं करोमि अवश्यकं करिष्यामि करोमि इदानीं करोमि
सम्यक् सम्यक्
धन्यवादः
धन्यवादः
धन्यवादः सुमित्रा महोदय
नमस्ते महोदय
नमस्ते नमस्ते जयकुमार जी नमस्ते भानु महोदय हरिप्रिया महोदय
ओ सरस्वती
आं महोदय
ओ सम्यक् सम्यक् भारतदेशम् गतवती वा ह्यः अस्तु गत शुक्रवासरे प्रायः कः आसीत् सा जया वा जया
विमाने स्थितवती I called from the plane because when the class started I was boarding so
Mahodaya bhavati atra asti va we were searching for you in the Lata section just half an hour back astu
Dhanyavada Sarvabhya. Like I really want to thank Jayakumar ji to giving me opportunity to join in the middle of the year, and it was really wonder. And my sister, she was telling you should learn Sanskrit only through Asha Seva Kendram only. That is the proper way of learning. So it was really helpful me. From last year, by this time, I didn't have any knowledge about Sanskrit, not even the alphabets. I don't even have the knowledge of Hindi also. So with great effort and with our help and all your teachers' help and classmates' help, I did learn something. It was really helpful. Thank you for so much.
Kutra vasati bhavati?
America desam. Atlanta nagare vasami.
Atlanta nagare अस्ति. अस्तु. इदानीं कुत्र अस्ति?
इदानीं विजयवाडा आगच्छामि.
नगरे सम्यक् सम्यक्.
महोदय अहमपि एकं feedback वदामि. One thing is we are starting with Sasyam. I think one Bijam class is required. For people who have, especially for people who have born and brought up in Tamil Nadu, we don't have the, not, if we have studied in state school, we don't have the opportunity to learn anything other than Tamil as our language. So we don't know, we don't have learned Devanagari script in school. So, I mean, many people will get demotivated. They want to learn. See, by the time we realize that it is very important to learn. We never got the awareness when we were growing up, but when we have the awareness now, we don't have the knowledge, the prerequisite. I think a prerequisite to Sasyam would help even much more students, and then that will prepare very well for the Sasyam class. Basically, the alphabets and how to read it, like I can read comfortably in English or Tamil, but not Sanskrit because I don't know where to break and where to give the path. That will really help. And that feedback. And another thing is, when students of different levels, like for example, some students said they are writing Siksha exam in Sasyam, attending Sasyam class. At the beginning of the class, it is causing a lot of confusion among students because not all of them are at the same level. People with a lot of knowledge, they answer all the question, and this kind of demotivating and also motivating at the same time. Because we don't know and we feel shy to answer because we are not in par with them, and we back out. But it takes that enough strength to come back. Okay, no, it's a fighter spirit. So we have to go there and we have to be there, that kind of a thing. So choosing students with different backgrounds, I mean, that one. And eventually it settles down in the class, but at least for a few weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, it takes to that noise to settle that noise down. Those are the feedback I want.
As Madam said, some students do make show off in the class.
Yeah, and another thing is, I am grateful and proud to be Archaseva Kendram student. And I will try to promote many students to join the class as well. Mahati, are you able to hear?
Yeah. Shruyate.
And I like the homework part very much. With that, I came to learn, like Chaitra Mahodaya said, a lot of history about our country. And it was amazing to see like how they really did so many things for us. And we are not talked about them. So that is amazing. Yeah. Like in the middle of the night, I'll sit and do like research kind of thing. I never did so much research, even for PhD or also. Like it was like, that's good for me. Dhanyawad.
Tatra aham preparation for Sasyam iti shrutam. So actually it turns out that I discussed this with our teachers. Banu or somebody suggested this, that we need to have an initial few weeks just to get everybody straightened out before we actually start the class. Because people are coming from different backgrounds, and some people may not even know Devanagari or may know but need some brushing up, etc. So we decided that we are going to start Sasyam not on day 1, but on day 6 or whatever it is called. Okay, so that feedback is good, and we already started thinking about that, and so we are going to implement that. So that's good feedback, and other feedback also well taken, which is tatra ye kechana nipunaha alpa nipunaha santi te sarvada uttaram datum icchanti. Sarvada. So ahameva uttaram dadami, ahameva uttaram dadami, ahameva uttaram dadami. So what happens, and that's, the teacher can't discourage all the time also. So sometimes they will just get their way, and then it becomes very discouraging to other students. I got some feedback, and I've even given feedback to teachers on this periodically. I do, and I got the feedback, this so and so person is like that, etc. So I used to tell the teacher, you have to be a little assertive, and you have to set up some rules that you already said it, and whatever way the teacher wants to do it, and they have to be a bit assertive. And so the teacher also has to learn along the way how to teach, how to make the class more effective, right? So that's very important. So point well taken. But yeah, in the future, anytime you find something like this, you can get back to your teacher or get back to me for sure, because I'm very, very sensitive to this. And even in my class, there were students like that. And so I found a way to, manage that. And so it's very critical. Very critical.
Banu Mahodaya handled it so much, like he was giving everyone a chance. Like he did handle very good.
Jayakumar, I want to give a feedback. Being I attended Sasyam class before, and then now I'm seeing my sister attending the Sasyam, the homework and everything, the standard has improved so much.
Okay. So improved so much means what? Anything in particular that has improved?
Like the homework part, also the writing of short essays, and we also had homework, but it was much more simpler, and it has become tougher. And I think this is really preparing the students. The foundation is becoming stronger. That's what I'm saying. Just like how a school will get that points, the stars, the number of stars is increasing for artists.
Okay. Nice.
Jayakumar ji. Ramu here. Banu Mahodaya was following alphabetical list to ask questions, and he was asking that person only to ask. That system is always good. And other class also, someone was using the same method. He will call alphabetically the list of attendees, and then that person would only answer that. So that can be managed that way.
सः नियमः उत्तमः नियमः अस्ति.
Raghuji also follows the same system.
गत शुक्रवासरे लता कक्षायां ते उक्तवन्तः तत्र सन्दीप महोदय प्रति छात्राय एका संख्या दत्ता. So everybody is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4 ityadi. Everybody knows their number, roll number, like thing, like we used to have at school. And so everybody goes by their roll number. And that's also okay system. Whatever works for the teacher is fine. I used to use the alphabetical system, and so whoever was absent, but we used to, everybody kind of knew how to process that.
Even the absent student, he was accommodating in the next class. You didn't answer here, so now you answer now, like that.
Okay. So we will follow, we'll continue to use that. And we are going to, what we are doing is, next, we are going to train all the new teachers. There are a few new teachers, and we're going to train them. We're going to actually train them on how to, how to use the system. It's not straightforward, and there are many things that they have to follow, such as periodically checking on themselves. Am I audible? Is the screen visible? Is it, is the internet okay? Is it? They have to, because everybody is waiting. All students, sometimes you don't hear. And then, they're waiting. Somebody should say, and everybody is waiting for the other person to say. By then, you've lost, a couple of minutes. And so all that, that awareness is critical. So we're going to train teachers on this.
All the technical issues were not there much in Sasyam evening class. It was all clear, more or less.
No, that is because of Banu Kshama. So Kshama is there. Kshama compensates for all that. Okay. But what if I don't have Kshama?
Okay.
I'm going like Rajdhani Express. Then what happens?
That
is the thing. Okay. So we can't rely on everybody's Kshama. So we have to prepare everybody here. Okay. Dhanyavada.
धन्यवादाः. भाग्य महोदय, कृपया वदतु.
Jayakumar ji, धन्यवाद. Namaskara Jayakumar ji. Banu Mahodaya, namaskara. I have so much, I learned so much, Mahodaya. You do not know. From the beginning to now, my Samskrita interest, my God, I don't believe it. It's coming back, but it's much more. I never forget Banu Mahodayasya Protsahaha Mahodaya. I got into Sambhashanam, I got into Chandamama correction, I am getting into Vyakarana, Banu Mahodaya. I really do not know. Tava prosaham sarvada smarami smarishyami. Because of you, you don't know how many, there are so many things I got into Sanskritam. And even with all that, my memory, all that issue, you know, it finally coming back, and I'm so much grateful to Banu Mahodaya with his encouragement, and he's telling, you can do it, you can do it. And I'm like, really? I can do it? And then I really don't know, Mahodaya, how to say thank you. I really want to say thank you. And Mama Priya Vishayaha Gruha Karyam. I miss Gruha Karyam. Now there is no Gruha Karyam. I miss that. It was really, really, really nice. And I have learned Sanskrit in so many other ways in my college and high school and from my childhood. But this Arshavidya class, Samskrita class, it's really great. Really, really, really great. I'm telling you from my experience, because I learned Sanskritam from 10 different people, 10 different, you know, Samskrita Bharati, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and my childhood thing, my father was teaching me. And then high school, college, I almost took Sanskrit as my major.
Bhagyashriji, 1 minute. Rukminiji wants to leave now. So once Bhagyashriji finishes, Rukminiji are able to hear me. You are welcome to say a few words before you leave. If that's okay, if you can hang on for a few more minutes.
Why can't you tell that Mahodaya can continue later? If Rukminiji wants to say.
Sure, sure. Yeah, please.
Oh my God, thank you so much for accommodating me. And I'm sorry, I can't even speak now. I'm so overwhelmed. But anyway, I'm going to continue in English. I am on the wrong side of 70, and I have a lot of problems. And I learned Sanskrit for a year and a half, and I was about 14. And even though I wanted to learn, I couldn't continue, but I kept on, I was clinging on to the whatever I learned at the time. And last year I heard somewhere, and then I really wanted to do this. And my sister said, okay, you can take a class from this group. But by the time I figured all this out, it was, believe it or not, it was late December. And when Akila ji was very kind to say, make all the arrangements. I have no idea how she did it. And then she introduced, she said, you can take the class. I attended one class by Banu Mahodaya. I attended one class by Karthik Mahodaya. I attended one tutorial. And there were such good reviews. I had just a book from Pravesha book. I read it. I mean, I can read very fluently, but I read that book, but these were such good reviews. And, with my other difficulties, it was really wonderful. I did the exam. It was very easy. And I have to, again, thank specifically Bhanu Mahodaya and Akila Mahodaya. I don't know about this Google Classroom, but they allowed me to take the exam at my own pace. I started like an hour and a half late. I finished it soon, but I just scanned and sent my answer to Bhanu Mahodaya. I have no idea how he took care of everything. So much extra effort. There are so many ways. In the last, I would say 6 weeks or 5 weeks, it was so helpful, because it gave me a wonderful distraction by all the other issues that were going on. And I'm so motivated. No, it's like, it's like a bright ray of sunlight. I really appreciate that. And I didn't know Jayakumar Mahodaya. Thank you so much. I didn't know who you were. And I watched some tutorial. And I took the liberty of asking you a question. And I don't know whether it was right or wrong, but anyway, you were so gracious in answering me and clearing my doubt. And so there was a lot of encouragement. I hope I'll be able to continue. I am going to try my very best. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. And my special thanks to Karthik Mahodaya. I attended one class and it was very, very helpful. Thank you so much. Okay. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. I forgot who was speaking before, but I thank her too specifically. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. It's just morning here.
Thank you to Rukmini ji for joining. And Rukmini ji lives in Los Angeles, and she's a pediatric oncologist, and
oh no,
and she's contributed a lot to the science, and there is she worked in a company, and I hope you're okay if I tell you.
I
Tell
hope
our audience.
It's not about me, Mahodaya. It's really not about me.
No, I'm saying, where you say you're on the wrong side of 70 and things like that. Let me talk about the right side, okay? And so she's contributed that, and that, what is that? Kaiser Permanent, I think that's the company she worked for. And they have a hospital where they've named a ward after her. And that's the kind of contributions she has made. And she's working through some of, physical things that she talked about. And so that's why I kind of responded when she sent a message, and that I wanted to hear her also. I wanted all of you to hear her. And so nice of you to stay this long, Rukminiji, and we'll definitely look forward to seeing you and hearing from you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
She's like, well,
Yeah, Bhagyashriji, if you can come back on.
So, Mama Dhanyavada to Haripriya Mahodaya. I'm taking a Vyakarna class from her. Very, very nice teacher. I really like. It's hard for me, but I will continue. And then all my classmates, Mahodaya, they are all very nice here. Meera Mahodaya, Chaitra Mahodaya, Usha Mahodaya, everybody. They are all very, very, very nice. And then, got to know them very well. And then I really would like to thank all of you. And then I will continue my Sanskrit journey really well. Thank you very, very much, Jayakumar Mahodaya. Because of your encouragement also, I did all this, and I never forget the conversation I had beginning of the my Sanskrit class. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Dhanyavadaha. Dhanyavadaha. Nice of you to keep at it, and that's what our Acharya says. Even our Bhagavad Gita also we studied recently. Uddhareyad atmanatmanam natmanam avasade. So help yourself, and whatever help you want, get it. It's all available. If you don't ask, we won't get. So thank you.
Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya. Hina Mahodaya. Krupaya vadatu.
Is there anybody who has to leave immediately or soon? So I think that maybe Banu Mahodaya, we should ask that question.
If I can
because
Satyam.
Because it's getting late and some people may want to leave. Some people who can stay.
If I can interrupt. Banu Mahodaya, can I take over?
Ekakshanam. Whoever has to leave, can you please raise your hands so that we can prioritize you? Lakshmi Mahodaya, Sumitra, okay, Sri Vidya, and Vijay Mahodaya. Astu. Vadatu Bala Mahodaya.
Dhanyavadaha. Dhanyavadaha. Namaste Sarvebhyaha. Mama Nama Bala Subramanyah. Aham Ekavimshati Vayasaka Asmi. Jayakumar is laughing.
No, Satyam, Pavan, Satyam, everybody was lying. You were telling the truth. Finally, I like that.
Absolutely. Aham Samskritena Sambhashanam Kartum Prayatnam Karishyami. Aham Dhanyosmi Arsha Vidya Arsha Seva Kendrasya Kakshayam Pravishtavan. Banu Mahodayasya Sahanashilata Shlagniya. There was no day when he was anupastitah. Banu Mahodaya, are you listening?
Mahodaya.
I'm a good teacher. So I need interactive class. Dhanyavada. Graha karyani samyak bahu samyak santi. Parikshakaha atyuttamaha santi. Praveshaha pariksha pramanapatram adilabhanshah. Kopi doshaha kritaha shamyatam. Mama sahapatinaha Dhanyavadaha. 2 suggestions. Ado Varge Sambhashanam Santi. In the first few classes, there were Sambhashanam for, the 5 or 10 minutes, which helped us research for words and use the words at the right time. And of course, the Nibandhas were excellent. They got me to learn something about, I forget her name, Unake Obaya also, which I had never heard of in my life. And of course, we had Vishwesharaya, etc., whom we have at least heard of. But Okaya Oba, I forget her name, we had come across her for the first time. Dhanyavadaha, Banu Mahodaya. Hi, yes, Narayan Mahodaya, you can always...
Onake Obawa.
Onake whatever, Obaya. So I heard about her and I read about her for the first time before attempting the Nibandha. And Banu Mahodaya, hats off to you. I cannot be as patient as you are. That is why I will never become a teacher again. Dhanyavadaha, Shubharatrihi, and we definitely look forward to seeing you again in Lata, in an advisory role, if you don't want to put up with us on a daily basis. Dhanyavadaha.
Bahu samyak, bahu samyak. Balasubramanian Mahodaya, Bhavan kutra vasati? Unmute karotu kripya.
Aham Mumbai Nagare vasami.
Samyak, samyak.
And I learned Samskritam only online now. I have no prior knowledge of Samskritam Sambhashanam. So maybe before Arsha Vidya Kendra, I attended some 4 to 6 months of online classes, but I was never regular there. I have never done my homework. My partner tells me that I have never studied so much elsewhere. If my mother were alive today, she would have said that I have never studied so much in my life, as much as I put efforts to appear for the exam and do the homework for Arsha Seva Kendram, because Banu Mohodaya used to always threaten us that if you don't do more than 2 homeworks, Jayakumar ji will throw you out of the class. He used to use that as a tool. Only now I came to know that you are as good as me and as humorous as I am. But then he painted a very demonish picture of you. Dhanyavada.
Oh my God. Dhanyavada.
Mahodaya, I said 3 homeworks, not 2 homeworks.
But same thing, sir. When I was 3 or 4 homeworks late, I made it a point to write everything together within 4 days after coming back. But the great thing is, you were never absent for the class. We used to remain absent regularly. So that is what I am very, very proud about, that there's a teacher who never remained absent while on duty. Only once he said that some laptop is not working, which was beyond his control. Dhanyavada, Bhanu Mahodaya, for all the Sahana Shilata.
But homework is only for 21-year-old.
Unmute karotu. Unmute karotu. Unmute yourself.
Like,
you're still muted, Boho. You're still muted.
The original color of my hair and my mousse is black. I have bleached it only to show people that I am enlightened.
Bahu samyak. Definitely. Yeah. So what made you sit through study and do work like a PhD student after being 21?
No, the basic, what's that called? Yes, as a kid, we have studied shlokas, this, that, and all. We chant the Vishnu Sahasranamam without knowing the meaning. That was by rote. Now, when you actually read Vishnu Sahasranamam, you really make out what is happening. Like I used to say, Shri Yudhishthira Uvacha, without knowing what Uvacha was, or Bhishma Uvacha. So now at least we know what is Uvacha, and then we proceed. So that was the what is that called? The starting point. But of course, then as time passed, you look at each and every word like karishyami. Why is it karishyami? Why not karomi and things like that? So Banu Mahodaya, hats off to you. Dhanyavadaha for putting up with me as a student, because I used to always interrupt in between the class. He is not commenting now.
Oh, sorry.
Dhanyavadaha. Mahodaya, we always enjoyed your sense of humor. And you pulling my leg and you commenting that if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'll never forget.
And I told him, I said that if you can pass Praveshaha, then I will also pass Praveshaha.
Dhanyavadaha. Sadly, Srividya Mahodaya had to leave. I think Vijay Sundara Mahodaya also has to leave. So please go ahead, Mahodaya.
Thank you, Jayakumar ji, Banu Mahodaya and Haripriya. And also thanks to the, Arsha Seva Kendram for this wonderful seva. I mean, I know that you have been doing many activities and many projects. And I really enjoy learning Sanskrit. And learning Sanskrit was from my school days, and I never got an opportunity. But then whenever I used to share this feeling with my family, family used to say that you will learn it one day with your grandchildren, and that's what's happening now. So, and as many people have said that being in Tamil Nadu, learning Sanskritam is a bit difficult. And when the one good experience is because I lived in North, so I picked up in Hindi. So my Hindi proficiency is good, so that's helped me to learn the Sanskrit. But still, in the initial stages, I was a bit, had inhibitions and difficulties in pronunciation and understanding it. So I used to go back to this, ABCD of this Sanskrit, and I tried to learn from other sources also. But let me tell you that the foundation is very strong in Arsha Seva Kendram, and the kind of patience, that dedication that Banu Mahodaya has, and the patience he has in teaching and asking questions again and again, and giving everyone the opportunity to repeat or ask is excellent. And as some of them have said that it is, I can see that the background each of the acharyas coming from, like whether you or Banu Mahodaya or Haripriya, we all have different roles. Despite that, you spend so much of time in taking the sessions and preparing for the sessions and all. So that itself is a big motivation for me. And despite my commitments, my workload and other things, I find it, because after a long time my struggle, I am able to now join the Sanskrit classes. I am able to do that, and the resources available in the classrooms, like the PowerPoint presentation or the videos or other things, are really excellent. Even before, although I was learning from the Pravesha book, I often refer to the resources available, and often refer to them and see that wherever I have the difficulties. So the resources are really excellent, and so I'm learning, and I look forward to learning as much as I can. And the support I get from my fellow classmates are really good. And when I had some, I had a contact with Kartik Mahodaya in other group, so I had established a personal relationship, friendship with him. So whenever I had difficulties, I used to go back to him and ask him doubts, and he was patient enough to explain to me. And I attended some of his tutorials, which are excellent. And because of the time constraint and other things, I used to watch Meera Mahodiya's and others' videos, which are also very useful. So it helped me to prepare for the exams, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that. And one or two issues, or one or two, my humble submission is that I think the the essay writing, or giving a topic and write essays is I found sometimes difficult. Bhanu Mahodaya really encouraged, and he said, you make it in simple, but use 1 or 2, 3 words in a sentence. So I try, and even now, like, when I volunteered to do the vote of thanks, I prepared it in English. Then, Preeti Mahodaya said that, no, you translate in Sanskrit and I will help you. So just before coming to the session, I just finished it and sent to her. I hope that, it will be okay. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity for me, great learning experience for me in Asaseva Kendram, and every one of them give their best to, give the thing. The other thing is that, whenever I come to the class, I used to think that, if one day before, if they given what will be taught tomorrow, that would be help. But then when I come to the class, when they teach new things, it's really very exciting thing, and to learn more newer things. If I had known earlier, maybe I would have been a bit reluctant or a bit lazy, because I know that okay, they are going to teach them. So that way, every day is a new learning and new experience, which is very good. And I used to listen to or watch both the videos time and again, morning session and evening session. So that gives me a lot of encouragement. And still I have the difficulties in remembering the letters, Sanskrit letters and meanings. So I'm trying my level best, and I look forward to continue with my studies. And thank you. Because I remember I have come to you once. I said that I want to learn Sanskrit, but then you said that the classes already started, so we don't join the Bhagavad Gita class. So I started with that. Now I benefit immensely from both the sessions, and which are really good. And as many said that learning Sanskrit helped me to also to understand the slokas very well, and why we say this, why we say that. So that kind of differentiation I could make. So thank you very much to you, Jayakumar ji, Bhanu Mahodaya, Haripriya, and all of us. And the session is really vibrant every day. Thank you.
Dhanyawada.
Dhanyawadaha Mahodaya. Who else has to leave soon? Please raise your hands. Astu. Then we will go in order. Hina Mahodaya, Krupya Vadatu.
Unmute karotu, Kripaya.
Namaste, Jayakumar ji. Namaste, Bhanu Mahodaya ji. I have attended morning class, Sasyam morning class, and I have learned from 0 to now grammar. I can read stories. So this class have given me a better grammar, basic knowledge, which is taught very nicely. That I am very happy to sometimes read some small stories, like a child who reads some so small stories and they become happy. So when I can I'm becoming so happy that I can read Sanskrit now. So this class have given me a best knowledge, that basic knowledge to learn more my Vaishnava Sampradaya, all sloks. So when I read now, then I can understand that this sloks has got this meaning, and with that knowledge, I can remember more the old slokas. And so this class have helped me a lot. And since so many years, before nearly 15 years, I bought I'm staying in Bombay. So I bought Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan is very near to my house. So one day I went to that bookstore and I bought this Saral Sanskrit Siksak book. And I had a wish, okay, I would learn, one day I will learn Sanskrit. But I had never get a chance to learn from anyone. And one day my niece, Ami, she gave me your reference and she told me, I'm joining the class. You also join.
Oh,
So
Ami from Singapore. Oh,
Amisha, yeah. So she is my niece, my sister-in-law's daughter. So she told me to join the class. So I was very happy to join this class. So now this, which I had wished, I had kept my book this with me, that I will learn. So I have learned, and I can read this book, and I think with this, I will have more interest in learning. This Pravesha book has introduced me the Purana Shastras history. So I think that about the Kalidas and our old granthas, that we don't know anything. So I think in the next class, I am looking forward to learn more from these authors, and I think this class will help me to learn more about our Sanskruti, Bharat Sanskruti. So I'm very thankful to this class and my all teachers and my co-student and Karthik Mahoday also, because whenever we had a doubt, I used to attend his class. He used to guide us, and my students, that Harsha Mahoday and Rita Mahoday, they helped me also when I was getting stuck. So I am very helpful to, means I am very thankful to this class. I am looking forward to attend the next class and learning more grammar and learning more Shastras. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Dhanyavada.
Yeah.
And this one, so the fact that you said 15 years ago, I got this book from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, etc. So many people have met me over the last 20, 25, 30 years. Everybody has said the same thing. That is, I've always wanted to learn Sanskrit. Oh, are you teaching Sanskrit? Oh, I always wanted to learn. So everybody wants to learn Sanskrit, but somehow couldn't learn. They have a lot of books also. You know, there are people who have a lot of Sanskrit books, but don't know any Sanskrit. Can you believe this? Only for Sanskrit this is applicable. A lot of books are there. Oh, I have this book and that book. And I used to wonder, oh, I never had those books. What happened? How did they get all these books from it? And I have not even gone to Bharatiya Vidya. So this is very unique. It is very, and it's common. Your experience is everybody's experience, Inaji. And so that I wish to learn, etc. I have all these books. So books are always, in fact, in these things, people, I used to wonder, there's no need to recommend books and all that, because people already have books. They will be recommending me, oh, these are the new books you should try. So that is interesting. So Sanskrit is like that. So very nice to. Okay, you are muted. You are muted. You are muted.
Yeah. So this is a Shikshak book. I thought I will be able to learn from this book, but it was difficult. With this class, it made me easy to learn. It was, I just kept it and I try to read sometime, but without the basic knowledge, you can't read that. You cannot translate. No, I think next year it will be better that we will translate from Sanskrit to English and English to Sanskrit. That will be more practice is needed for us to do more Sambhashan, I think. So if those homework, that much homework for 10 sentences will be more appreciated. I feel this is my suggestion. You can, means whatever you are doing, it is lots of we are obliged to that. But this is what I'm finding it difficult. That's what I'm telling you.
Definitely. Yeah. Keep your feedback there, and the next class also give your feedback to the teachers, and then keep doing that.
Okay.
Dhanyawad.
Gayatri Mahoday, you're there.
Namaste, Jayakumar ji, and Banu Mahoday, and Haripriya Mahoday, Sarvebhya Namaskaraha. Whatever I wanted to say, I think everybody has said. Yes, being in Tamil Nadu, see, we have been at a loss for learning new languages. We have been learning only 2 languages. That was really tough. And actually, I wanted to learn Sanskrit for a long time. As Jayakumar ji told, I'm saying that again. We were giving me a Sanskrit college. I wanted to go enroll myself, but due to the family commitments, I couldn't do at all. Then by chance, I came to know about, I enrolled myself in Sanskrit Bharati before, but I couldn't attend the classes. So I happened to know about Asha Seva, and it is, I feel it is a blessing for me, God's blessings for me. So I learned a lot, and really, I want to thank Haripriya Mahodaya. She was so good, so patient. She was such a friendly person, and she taught us very well. And Banu Mahodaya, whenever we had doubts, like anything, then Kartik Mahodaya in his tutorials, wow, it was so good. He, like a child, he will explain everything to us. It was so good. And I went to one Vedanta class by Jayakumar ji, where he was telling that because I have never heard of his Vedanta class. So when Banu Mahadev told about that, I wanted to go and hear him. It was so wonderful. But due to the time difference, I've been hopping to different time zones for the past 6 years. So it was difficult for me to attend class. But I made it a point, wherever I am, I will attend Sanskrit class. And I'm so happy that I didn't miss any one class. I was there for all the classes. I'm so happy about that. Till even before the week, the last week before the exam also, we had the class. She was so ill. Haripriya Mahodaya, we said, no, you take rest. She said, it's okay. I'll explain whatever doubts you have. She was so good in that. So really, we are fortunate enough to have such a gurus for us. Thank you, Mahodaya. I don't know, because I don't know what else to say. Like one of the persons told, it will be better for if we can have the initiation classes, that is to know the Devanagari scripts, how to pronounce that dirgha. That is the difficulty for the students who don't know the 4 sounds. So it will be very much helpful, Mahodaya.
Yeah, so that is Tamil Nadu's contributed to humanity, which is we have ruined the Devanagaris completely by removing all this ka, ka, ga, ga, and then make this one ka. Ganga, same ka. Gayatri, same ka.
Periyarism.
One ka. 4 letters. How nice. Combine 4 letters into one.
Periyarism of Kamara. Periyarism of Karunanidhi. He changed it. Paramarthananji usually makes a joke. It's Advaitam. Tamil is Samskrita Advaitam.
Advaita, Sanskrita Advaita. Correct. Collapse all letters into one. So, good feedback. Yeah, we'll have that Sasyam preparation. And all preparation, not the Sasyam Lata. Everybody will have the preparation. And
so, Mahodaya, as a joke, in Madurai, when I went to Madurai, there was a board. At the top, it was written PANK, Bank of Parota. And below, there was a board, another board which wrote Hotel. Baroda ready. So what they meant was probably Parota ready and Bank of Baroda on top. So
yeah,
actually,
that's a very good.
Both Tamil and then the Tamil language is also gone now. There is no perfection in that language also, not in English. See, we are losing that. Really, it is a bad thing to say, but that is what is happening.
So very nice that we could take advantage. Mama Mata Vayamapi Tatra Mailapur Bhage Ushitavantaha Mundakani Amman Marge Panchadasha Varshani Tatra Ushitavantaha Kacheri Margaha Asti Khalu Janati va Bhavati?
Janami Mahodaya. And now we are in Trivandrum, but no, I am just going around now. So actually, before you said we wanted to come to Coimbatore, Actually, we thought of settling in Coimbatore. Then we canceled that. But I want to come and visit. Definitely, we'll do that over there. I heard you're near Mardamalai, right? The ashram is near Mardamalai.
Yeah, the ashram, my home is the ashram. That's it. Don't think there is some big forest where I'm living and all that. I don't have all those ideas. I live in a small 300 square feet apartment. This is my ashram.
Okay,
Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. Many people have come here, so please come.
In Coimbatore, where Mahodaya? Kutra Mahodaya in Coimbatore?
Tatre Vadavalli iti. Janati va?
Janati ma.
Vadavalli bhage eva vasa.
Okay.
Close to Vardhamalai. Yeah.
Rohini Mahodaya.
Namaste Jayakumar Mahodaya. Namaste Banu Mahodaya. As both of you know, I entered into the class very late, and after a struggle, I have been trying to enter into Sasyam for a long period, but I didn't know the proper way, and then I got into it. I think I came about the 38, when I came in, the 38th or 39th homework was going on. And I struggled a lot to get into the homeworks. Already I took the Pravesh exam of my own, whatever I knew. But now, then I realized that I could have scored more, really centum if I had took the exam now, after having completed this class. It was such a very nice class. And as everyone referred, our very good teacher, he was so, Banu Magadya, we owe very much to him. He was so nice. What can I say? He accommodated every one of us. And whenever we were wrong, what he said was, Chinta Mastu, was the only word he used to tell. And the other word I remember, he used to tell, Mukastudi na avashyakam. That also I remember well. Then now, I think I've improved very much in writing. I was very bad, though I had taken the exam prior to this, but I was not fluent in writing and even in speaking. And even now I'm not fluent in speaking, I know that well. Now I'm little bit improved in writing, as I realize now. And the thing is, I was not able to spend time to the tutorial classes. I think in future I should accommodate myself for that. And thank you all once and again. Thanks for the Seva Kendra, which has given us a lot. Thank you, Magabe. Dhanyavada. Dhanyavada, Banu Magadya.
Dhanyavada. Bhavati Sharada Mahodayayaha Bhagini asti kalu?
Anuja
asti. Samyak. Smarami.
Hemanti
Kutra vasati Bhavati?
Tenkasi, Kutralam.
Smarami.
I'd like to invite all of you to for a trip to Kutralam. Yes, it's just some 2 kilometers away from here, and we have a very good accommodation at my place itself. So I will be very happy if you could visit sometime.
Dhanyavada. We'll take it up.
Dhanyavada, Margo.
Yeah, Hemanti Mahodaya.
Namaste Sarvebhyah. I've also came to United States at the age of 13. And so I have pretty much lost all the history part of, knowing anything about history or shastras. And so when I started this class, it was a blessing that at least, I'm able to reconnect and know some more besides learning Sanskrit. I always wanted to learn Sanskrit, but I've never found that time to do it. And in a way, I'm also grateful to this pandemic that all the social stopped and it kind of pushed me into this direction that, and then came to know about our Seva Kendram from one of the friends. She asked me to join this class, and I joined, and had no knowledge of yes, I was able to read, but didn't really know anything beyond that. And very, very grateful for this class. Bhanu Mahodaya, yes, definitely. His patience, his encouragement. I mean, we can just go on and on. Everyone has said that, and I'm very grateful for that. Also, he suggested about Chandamama story proofreading and that Sanskrit speaking class, which also I try to attend, and that is helping as well. I'm also facing the problem with Sambhashanam. It just goes straight to English, and doesn't matter how hard I try, it just does not. Words just don't come so quickly. I think when I have to write and when I can take the time, it's easier to form something. But when it comes to speaking instantly, it's just not coming. Yes, Guru Karyam, yeah, it was my favorite thing as well. And Nibandha, yes, I loved it because I didn't know about anything. So it was good to know about Ahalyabai, start to do a little research about Onike. I did not know about her also. So it was good to know all those stories as well. And the other, I have tried with Samskruta Bharati. Because it's a mandatory attendance required, plus it's a long stretch, like for 10-day class, and every day it's like 2 hours. 2 times I signed up and 2 times I dropped out because I just could not make that commitment. And so I'm very grateful to our Seva Kendram because online learning, and if you miss a class, you're always able to go back to video and catch up on it. So it's really, I'm very grateful for that. And recently, and now I'm learning one of the Gitam for Samaro. Every time I, practicing that Gitam, I'm always thinking about you, Jayakumar. I'm just thinking every time, the line comes, all the lines, but the one particular one that kind of I feel comes to me is Sanskruter Vimukham Samajam Jivanena Sikshayem. I feel like you are just doing that. I feel like I'm one of those person who became Vimukh of all the Sanskrit, all of it. And now, I'm coming back to it. So I'm very, very grateful for that. I just can't say thank you enough to, all the tutors, Bhanu Mahodaya, Haripriya Bhagini also, and all the graders, all the tutors, everyone who works behind the scene to provide this kind of learning. I'm just extremely grateful. Thank you so much to everyone. And all the co-students, it's a very good group. I really enjoy it. And I definitely will continue.
Very nice. You live in Vancouver, no? USA, Washington?
Yeah, Vancouver, Washington.
Washington, yeah. Not Vancouver, Canada.
No, Vancouver, Washington. Yes. Yeah.
Very nice. So, tatra bhavtyaha feedback asit vicharaha. So, English comes very easily. So, what we'll try to do is we'll take the feedback quite seriously. We'll try to close the door through which English comes. So, we'll try to find out how to do that, and then that way the English won't come so easily.
Yeah.
Hemanti
Mahode,
yes.
We are very thankful about giving us that PDF of learning Pravesha. So you made it all Vangmay in the one section, all words.
Oh my goodness, that's the
so
tiny little
you have
part
done a
of
great
that,
job.
but everyone's done so much.
No,
I'm also grateful to Priti Mahodaya for organizing all the book orders. She took upon her and talked to Manish Mahodaya at Granthalaya and all. Yeah. No, my part is, yeah.
No, we are. So it was very easy for us to learn for the Pravesha. Otherwise, we were just moving from this page to other page, and again we forget from which page it is. So it made us very easy to learn the Pravesh exam.
Thank you.
So.
Ramu Mahoday, are you there?
We are waiting for next class, Mahodaya, to start soon.
Ramu Mahoday appi asti.
Dhanyawada. Sorry. Thanks to everyone for all that they gave. Jayakumar ji, you snatched away the sloga from my mouth. Acharya Padamadate.
Oh.
I was wanting to start.
Shamyatan.
No problem. I'm just telling. Out of that, two stanzas are applicable to me only. The first and the first Acharya and next Sahapadibhya. The second one I have not done at all. So and the last
Shishya
one.
Sameda. So Shishya Sameda is lacking. Is what you're saying.
Lacking. So whatever has gone through is all because of Tenali Raman's three skulls. Swami Paramarthananda usually used to say cross ventilation. Whatever has escaped cross ventilation has gone inside. So I know I am not able to concentrate much to give more time for revision. So whatever has escaped cross ventilation has gone inside. So I have to and one suggestion is that in that Paryaya Padam we have to change this Shamya Daritri. In that we have to add Shamya Daritri for Shama, that patience. You say, you compare Artha. In that you have to add a name. You didn't get the point.
Not fully. No, I didn't get it.
Shamaya Daritri we say.
Shamaya Daritri.
Daritri, earth. In that place we have to add one more name of Banu. For his patience.
Satyam.
For showing so much patience in teaching. That's what I have to say. I don't know when I will be able to attribute more time for this scheme because of my biting too much. Out of my engagements with other things. I'm enjoying. I never missed a class or never missed a homework in spite of everything. Haripriya Mahodaya, I am not able to revise even one video, but still I'm taking it up and prepared to go ahead with the next level also. I have just joined the class of, as I told you, Haripriya's Mahodaya. In this case, it is not cross ventilation, is going above the head, but still we'll see. Something will go inside them, miss the law and go inside. I'm hoping that. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Ramachandran Mahodaya, tatra saha api Coimbatore nagare vasati. Saha बृहत् कार्यं करोति, सेवां करोति. सः स्वामी परमार्थानन्दानां भाष्यानि सन्ति, ये पाठान् यथा भगवद्गीता इति अस्ति, भगवद्गीतायाः व्याख्यानं तस्य ट्रान्स्क्रिप्शन् करोति, तस्य व्याख्यानस्य ट्रान्स्क्रिप्शन् करोति, पूर्णम् आङ्ग्लभाषायाम् अस्ति ट्रान्स्क्रिप्शन्. अनन्तरं भगवद्गीतायाः आदिशङ्कराचार्यस्य भाष्यम् अस्ति. सो तस्य तेषां वर्गाणां ट्रान्स्क्रिप्शन् करोति सः. कृत्वा अनेकानि पुस्तकानि आसन्. अहमपि तान् पुस्तकान् उपयोजयामि, मम पठने अपि उपयोजयामि. सः एवं करोति कार्यं. बहु वर्षात् पूर्वम् आरब्धवान्, इदानीमपि कुर्वन् अस्ति सः राममहोदय. सो अहं तस्मै धन्यवादान् प्रेषयामि. धन्यवादः भोः.
Anyone else remaining? Anyone who's not spoken?
Vijay Mahodaya has not spoken.
I am there. Yeah, no, before that, anyone is there? Banu Mahodaya is back.
Vedartham Ramesh.
Vedartha Ramesh.
Yeah, he's there at the bottom. Yeah. सम्यक् न श्रूयते किञ्चित् ध्वनिः किञ्चित् उपरि करोतु
इदानीं श्रूयते वा
किञ्चित् श्रूयते
I bow down to my Acharya's feet. At the outset, I would like to thank for giving me the opportunity. Both the teachers, Haripriya Mahade and Banu Mahade, are excellent in their teaching skills. I never saw them angry upon any student. They reached the last bench students like me in their teaching.
Can you lower your phone? Can you lower your phone so we can see your face, Mahodaya? Some more. If you can lower it some more, so we can. Dhanyawada. Dhanyawada.
I took the privilege of attending the classes of both the teachers, even though I'm placed in the morning session. The Sasyam classes are well organized, and the homework structure of the class is very, very, very fine. I suggest to give a Samskruta Bhashanam to 8 to 10 students a week per month, so that they can speak on some cities or words of temples, etc., to improve the Samskruta Bhashanam. I express my thanks to my colleagues. I was busy with my job in the COVID time for the last 1 month. Even then, I could write the examination because of the help of Acharyas in finishing the task. Jayatu Samskrutam, Jayatu Artha Seva Kendram. Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya.
धन्यवादः वेदार्थं महोदयः कर्नूल् नगरे अस्ति खलु भवान् सः कर्नूल् नगरे वसति सः वैद्यः अस्ति वैद्यः कस्मिन् क्षेत्रे वैद्यः अस्ति वाट् इस् युर् फील्ड्
शिशुवैद्यः महोदय
शिशुवैद्यः पीडियाट्रिक् बहु सम्यक् कोविड समये भवान् अतीव व्यस्तः आसीत् वा
for the last 1 month.
एवं वा कर्नूल् नगरे कथम् अस्ति सर्वं तत्र स्थितिः कथम् अस्ति
इदानीं सम्यक् अस्ति महोदय. It has come down far better now.
अस्तु अस्तु प्रार्थयामः वयं प्रार्थयामहे सर्वान् जनान् पालयतु इति प्रार्थयामः धन्यवादः
हरिः महोदय धन्यवादः
Is there anyone else? Anyone remaining who hasn't spoken? Okay. Okay, then I'll speak. Sarvebhyo namaskaraha. Yeah, for me, it's been, again, as everyone said, I've been wanting to learn Sanskrit for a long time. So when I joined Bhagavad Gita class, I remember I asked Guruji whether, and that class had already started. So he said, next batch you can join. But somehow it's like when God thinks about you, he will make sure everything happens properly. So for me, it was like the intention was there. I had my attention on it, so somehow it has to happen, and things manifested. And last 2 years, for some reason, I was also having enough time to do what I wanted to do. My passion, whatever I wanted to pursue in learning Bhagavad Gita, chanting, Sanskrit, all that happened. If it had happened, like now, again, work is coming and it's getting busy, but it happened. Like 2 years, I spent a lot learning many things during the COVID times. So it all is divine grace, I think. And I am grateful to Guruji, yourself, and Bhanu Mahadaya was phenomenal. I think I wouldn't have been able to continue because for me also, after learning Hindi, maybe about 40 years back, it was difficult. All the words, though I knew the letters, putting it together was very difficult. But over time, with his patience and with all the students, I learned now I can chant much better than when I started off. So it's all thanks to everyone. And thank you very much, Guruji. Your blessings and your guidance on this path is what has helped me. I hope to continue forward. And yeah, if his blessings are there, it will happen. So thank you very, very much, Guruji. Okay, one thing I just suggestion or what I don't know. So towards the exam, I got busy. I said last about a month, I've got very busy. So during exam, I only source for me to study for the exam, because it was Pravesha exam, was Pravesha book. So what I realized is maybe grammar and all covered in our curriculum was much better. But having a revision of Pravesha book towards the last maybe a few weeks, not just Katha and all, the sequence in which it is done, I found it good. I don't know whether maybe my ignorance, but I found it useful for me when I went through Pravesha book towards close to the exam. I prepared mainly during exam only the Pravesha book. I read it 2 or 3 times. I read the book. That made me comfortable. But obviously what we learned in the class is what helped me to go through the book in detail. But that helped me. So I feel before the exam, like we do a few papers and all, maybe we should take a few weeks to go through this book. There's a lot of good things in that book. That's what I found. I'm not sure how others have found it, but
yeah.
It helped me.
Same here, sir. The book was very helpful for me also. And I found that it is a very systematic development.
Yes.
From the very beginning, the chapters are gradually increasing and they are developing in a very methodical way. So I too found the same, what you just said.
Yeah, because the way we learn in the class is good. Foundation becomes very strong. But later, if we go through this in that sequence, like Atmanepadi and Parasmaipadi, there it's covered together.
Yes.
That after our foundation, when we learn it together, it makes a lot more sense. Otherwise, it was like very disconnected. I didn't really know how to put it together. But when I read the Pravesha book, it made a lot more sense to me. I found it useful. I don't know. I didn't get time to do a single paper of Pravesha. I didn't have time. So I only read Pravesha book. I read it, I think, almost 3 times. Went from chapter 1 to 12. Read it again. So that helped me. I found it with our foundation. When we go through it, it makes sense. Directly, Pravesha book will not make sense. But after our foundation, it helps. Because we are appearing for the exam, so that book going in that order, it helps.
Yes.
It's the only thing. Otherwise, fantastic. I can't imagine anyone doing such a service to mankind. So thank you. I'm feeling blessed. Thank you very much.
Dhanyavada, Vijay Mahodaya. Vijay Mahodaya helps us a lot also, like many of you. And so he coordinates all the communications with our Bhagavad Gita classes. And many other things, video uploads, all that he does. So there is a lot of background activity that's going on. And so recently we had a program. In November, we had a program where we wanted to present what is Arsha Seva Kendra. Many of you are there, you keep saying Arsha Seva Kendra, but I know that if I ask you what is Arsha Seva Kendra, you would say what Sasyam. So Sasyam is a small portion. And so how many of you attended that program in November? Okay, not bad. A few of you attended. So yeah, so that's when I also realized how many people are actually doing also seva. Okay, small, big, whatever it is. And so a lot of activities going on in the background. Conducting these courses is not easy. So I really appreciate the seva done by everybody, including Vijay Mahodaya. And I see Arat Prasad ji has just joined from Houston, even though we are just about to finish here, but I'm happy to join. So Arat Prasad ji, we were talking about, everybody was giving their feedback and what were their thoughts about the course. And you are welcome to share a few thoughts if you have any.
Yes, Mahodaya. Kshamyatam. I forgot and turned. Somebody called me and they reminded me of the class, so I turned it on. So Please excuse me for coming late. I don't know whether this question has been come up before I joined. I wonder, when we started the class, there were many people. And when we ended, when the class and the session, the whole session was ended, there was a lot less. What may be the reason for that?
Yeah. So, Bhanu Mahodaya, if you don't mind, I can take a attempt to answer that. So many reasons. So our teacher was a bad teacher, and therefore many people said, this is not worth wasting my time on this class. That can be one reason. But most people are saying that, all of you are saying that cannot be a reason. So because Bhanu Mahodaya has done a great job. So therefore we can eliminate that reason. And Haripriya ji also was first class. So that is one reason. So that reason we can eliminate. Now, one of the challenges we face here is this. Even now, we are about to start the next season of classes. The challenge that I've given to our folks is, Karthik and other people, Bhanu and all, is how do you ensure that the person who is registering is serious about this? See, anybody can go in and register. It's free and all that. So it doesn't take time. I put my name because I'm interested. Genuine. That's a genuine interest. We are not questioning the genuinity of the interest. But I register because everybody wants to learn Sanskrit. But Samayaha Nasti eva. There's not time because the fellow is multitasking. He's doing 100 different projects and he wants to learn Sanskrit also. So how is it going to work? It won't work. It won't work. We have too many irons in the fire. The Sanskrit Saraswati will not come at all. She says, oh, you got all these projects. Okay, fine. Finish the project, then come back and knock on my door. That's what we're going to say. And so that could be one reason, Hariprasad Mahodaya. It could be one reason. Many people do that. And so my challenge to the team next is, how do you ensure that you minimize the number of people who join just because they're interested? And that's why we try to ask some questions. How many hours do you have? And is there a chance that you may be away, you may be traveling as part of your work and you may miss some classes? Because in this course, if you miss 3 classes in a row, that's it, gone. You can't catch up. I will watch video tomorrow. Tomorrow watching video will not come. Nobody has time to watch video tomorrow. It won't happen, period. If you miss a class, it's gone. And so this is how number reduced from 100 to 50 or 40 or whatever it is today. And another thing is that, we having too many students in one class, okay, it's not a good idea in Sanskrit. And we may have done that. We may have 25, 30 or 40 students in a class in the beginning, I think. And that's just, that's a lot of effort on the part of the teacher to engage 50 people in a Sanskrit class. It is just impractical. It's wrong. And Bhanu Mahodaya is suggesting let's have not more than 15 or 20 people. 15 preferably, okay? So 15 means we need a lot of teachers to accommodate people. So we are still working through that, and we are finding out where we need to get smarter in designing the registration. And I've heard yesterday somebody said that Tatra Vyoma, what they do is they conduct an exam. They conduct an exam before admitting people. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying we are going to do that, but so they have 1,000 people in a class, but it's not a video class. But then they have a video class also. But to attend the video class, then you must pass some exam, etc. You must qualify. So without conducting an exam, I want to find a way
Not for initial classes. Not for initial classes. Video classes, everyone, no test, nothing. Vyoma,
okay, can you repeat?
There is no exams also in this thing. Even so many people attend, so many people don't attend, and in between that internal assessments are also there. But no exam as such in joining. Anyone can join.
अहं जानामि पूर्वं चक्रवासरे लतावर्गे एकः उक्तवान् now started You said,
that is for the Saumya Krishnapur's classes, specifically what she is now starting as the Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi and advanced classes where you need Shiksha or some background.
That are all advanced classes. For that, they say speak in Sanskrit and you have to have passed some COVID level and all. That's there.
So there are two things that they have done. One is this, and the other one that I also spoke about was the fact that they're giving certificates in the end.
Yeah.
That is making the difference.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a certificate from Yoma, that's giving you a qualification to go to the next one.
Yeah.
So that's a way of.
Yeah.
Training for the Sringeri exams. In Sringeri exams, they are training Pradama, Didya and all.
Jayakumar Modaya, there are many of my friends, they want to learn Sanskrit, but they don't want any homework, they don't want anything. Their basic thing is they want how to read Bhagavad Gita properly, how to read all the slokas properly. How can we help those people? They don't want to do no stress, they don't want to do any homework. Is there any suggestion from you how we can help them?
So, I don't want to do any work, but I want to learn Sanskrit. I want to learn Bhagavad Gita. Is that the question? I want to confirm that I heard the question properly.
Yes. I mean, they want to read properly, but they don't want to go through like, they saw me and they're like, no, we don't have time to do the homework like the way what you are doing. That's too much stressful. So how can we say, what kind of course they can, even my husband has the same problem. He says, I don't want to do any homework. I want to read properly how to do that. So.
See, I'm listening here, Jayakumar ji. Most of us is retired or at the verge of retire. Time is not the factor, but the interest, what we develop, what we could not accomplish when we were growing up, we want to do it. My intention is to understand Bhagavad Gita and then read in the Devanagari script. And when I started attending Jayakumar ji, it was very interesting. And then I was very happy to start a few classes. I'm a very compulsive guy. If I take this task, I want to do perfectly all right. First few homework I did it. Then it was coming to my what I was trying to say is that it was taking me off my peace of mind, or not the peace of mind. I think I was very compulsive. And then I said, no, I was very stressful. I want to learn. I don't want to get any this certificate. I want to enjoy, like a music, like Carnatic music. I love the Carnatic music. If you ask me to sing, nobody will be there on the screen. And that the interest is different. And then qualification is different, certification is different. How do we make these people to continue to keep the interest? One of the suggestions is make the homework voluntary, not a mandatory.
No.
You can attend the class if you would like to.
Then nobody will do it.
No, that's left to them. Then we are here to encourage the people to learn the Sanskrit, take their time. Probably one of these days they say, okay, this is the way I want to do it. And then how do you encourage? That is the question Bhavya has. We are not intimidating anybody. We are not forcing anybody. Yes, okay, if we do the homework, it's good. That's a good way to learn. by any reason he cannot do it, it's okay to join.
Yeah, so Banu Madhya, our homeworks, is everybody submitting homeworks, or are there people who still attend who are not submitting homeworks? I'm not sure. Even though we say it's requirement, do we really make it a requirement? I don't know.
I don't think so, because I can sorry, Mahodaya.
So in the initial few classes, we made the emphasis that everybody should submit their homework. And I remember reiterating that in the first several classes. But other than that, I don't know how. I mean, we didn't enforce it. I didn't ask everybody in the class, have you done the homework? If not, come back after you finish the homework or anything like that. It's just a constant reiteration that homework has to be done.
Yeah, that was my recollection also. That was my recollection also.
And Jayakumar, the way I feel is homework, if you want to learn a language, a homework is of paramount importance. You cannot learn a language without doing the homework.
Yeah. So you know, Rameshji is a doctor. Suppose I come to Rameshji and ask, I want to learn a lot about medicine. I'm an engineer. I have nothing to do with medicine, but I love medicine because I want to, that parents are getting ill all the time. I'm getting ill all the time. Everybody is getting ill all the time. So I really want, I love medicine because it's useful. I know it's the benefit. But I don't want to enter the operation theater. I don't want to read any encyclopedia of this and that, medicine and all that. Tell me a way in which I can become an expert like you. Suppose I ask this to Rameshji. Rameshji is a doctor, okay? You tell me, and maybe from what you tell, I can get some ideas. Maybe I can get some ideas.
No, we are not asking about the expertness here. Purely, when you hear the Bhagavad Gita, just to get the zest of it, enjoy it, and propagate. That is the goal. There are two different. One sect of people, they really wanted to learn, master it. That's okay for them to have the curriculum and everything. The people just for interest.
So, okay, what stops you from attending these classes without doing the homework? I mean, I know
I was scared. And then Banu Mahadaya said, with all due respect, he's a wonderful teacher. If you don't submit the homework, you will get the call from Jayakumar.
Banu Mahadaya has done a disservice by using my name too many times at the wrong time. So,
no, nothing against Banu Mahadaya. He is a wonderful teacher.
No, I'm joking.
But anyway, I think I was in spite of that one.
But I think, see, suppose I say, you're welcome to attend. Now, so the thing is this, suppose there are 10 people who are doing homeworks regularly, okay, seriously. And then there are 15 people who are also attending the class who don't do any homeworks at all, okay. Now, should everybody get the equal attention in class? Should the person who is not done, so 5 and out of the 15, say there are 3 people who are really good, okay, I'll give it to them. Just by not doing homeworks, they're still good in Sanskrit. Picking it up, we'll give the benefit of doubt. But there are another 10 plus students who are lagging behind and lagging behind. And then they're pulling the class back also a little bit. So, the class is moving forward, but they pull the class back. Because, everybody should be given an equal chance, Now, if that happens, then if I was a teacher, I have a problem with that. I'll have a problem with that because the people who are doing the homeworks, they're moving exactly the way I want them to move. But the other people are engaging. I'm allowing them to engage because I made it optional homework. But they are insisting on engaging in class, okay? But without preparing. Now, the people, it's a disservice to the people who are doing homework and moving forward. And if I keep going back, no, we covered this 2 classes ago, and then look, this is Karmani Prayoga. Prayoga means a basic example. Now, this will become a problem for the people who are, I mean, I'm just telling you a very practical issue that will come up if you mix these two groups of people. And how do you want the teacher to manage this situation? That is my question. This will come up. This will come up. And you will be enjoying. I mean, maybe you won't ask questions, etc. But there are other people like you who want to engage, you know, who like to engage because they want to enjoy and have fun. And well, their fun is dragging the class back. That is my problem. So I'm just painting a picture that's, I think, practical, very realistic, potentially. And then how do you manage that? And so that can be a question that we will have to talk offline. And so, but another option is there. You have an option. You have an option of watching the videos. If you really like Banu Mahodaya and you like his way of speaking and you are able to pick up, nothing stops you from watching the video offline.
That's exactly.
Or you can attend. Oh, that's what you did.
Like Banu Mahodaya videos, I watched quite a few, and then also I was sitting next to Bhagya, and then not actively participating, listening. And then also Yoma classes, also one class they conducted like high school grammar by Yoma, phenomenal. And then only point mine is to not to impose too much. And then in the meantime, I did not interfere any of the classes with Banu Mahodaya when I was an observer, not an active participant.
So did you get what you want then? That is my question to you now. You did not actively.
I'm getting there with that. I'm getting there by, in a hard way, you can say. I can go and do the homework my own way and then take the different classes. And then like a Samskrita Bharati books.
He can do it now. He can read Sanskrit Mahodaya. He's doing it. He does not know, but he can do it. Because he did listen at least 10, 12 classes from Banu Mahodaya sitting next to me. You know, he did. It did help him.
Yeah, no doubt it definitely. Only thing is mine is I don't want to have any stress. Just at free will, I want to learn.
So that's what I'm asking. Did you get that or not? By watching, by sitting on the side and watching the video, you got it. Okay.
Yes, I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got
but
it.
Okay.
From the bottom
is there
of my
anything
heart,
different? Is there anything different you wanted us to do? That is the question. You got what you want from this, so that is that's why I was
if the
confused.
student is interested, there are many ways they can achieve their goal, and then without having so much stress. And then I'm not asking you to change anything, but that should be keep in mind. Okay, if you don't want to, that's fine. You can still participate, and then as long as you don't interfere with the class.
Okay. So Banu Mahodaya, did you hear that? Shrutavan va Bhavan? So Saha Vadati, the way we are presenting our class is what he's talking about, and allow those who do not want to do the homework to be. That's what we need to think about. Be part of the class means, what do you mean by part of the class? We have to decide what that means, and allow those who do the homework to engage, etc. So that we have to think about it. So that's what he's suggesting. I think he's suggesting that we can present it differently and still achieve what we want, right? Still exactly the same progress, and yet you've got other people also engaging, passively engaging, correct?
Yes.
Jayakumar,
but I'm giving the honest, constructive criticism about this. Your classes.
No, that's what I'm trying to go.
Hats
I got
off
it.
to you. Yeah, hats off to you with all the so much motivation, so much interest, so much unselfish things propagating our culture and our Sanskriti, some Sanskrit. You're all doing. Hats off to you. But have some soft corner people who are a little bit lagging behind. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ramesh ji.
Jayakumar ji.
Boliye.
Ramu here. That Vyoma, once you register for it, even if you don't attend the online sessions, you can watch the videos and be non-participative, but still you can learn from watching the videos and materials provided there. Once you register, you have got access to all the course material, whether it is a video, audio, or PDF and all. That you do it at your own pace.
Yeah,
that's what Ramesh may be suggesting.
Yeah, I'm not familiar about that Vyoma. I don't know what it is, but I recommended the videos to some of my friends who were in the same boat as like Ramesh ji. They want to learn, but they don't want to go through this whole the classes and the homework. So I recommended watching the videos. They told me that they are very helpful.
Vyoma videos sit there. I'm telling that.
Vyoma
videos are there.
Right. I'm not familiar with that, Mahodaya.
Vyoma Sanskrit from home. There are many courses suitable for many people, from kids to retired persons. All videos are available.
Right. I only recommended.
All videos are available. You can do it at your own pace. You can watch 2 videos one day if you want, or watch one video and then after 2 weeks you watch another video. You have got your own time to learn.
Yeah,
okay. Point well taken.
With Sasyam videos also.
Point well taken. Point well taken. Karthik Mahodaya, go ahead.
So, Mahodaya, this is exactly the question that we debate, not just here, everywhere, with all massive online courses. That is, whether it's from or Vyoma videos or in ASK. How do you ensure that there are a whole bunch of other people who just want to grasp something and learn some information, and you distinguish them from a bunch of people who are really going to be focused and do a very focused learning? And that's exactly what is the difference that Ramesh Mahodaya is asking for, which I completely agree and second him with. Now, let me come back to the same thing that we were speaking in Lata class about Vyoma. Now, the more that we spoke about in Vyoma was that this is what they're planning to do in the future about exams. That is, impose some barrier where they come forward. Now, that is strictly for all those people who are very stringent learners, just like people who will be very committed. They'll ask for at least 4 or 5 hours of commitment a week, so on and so forth. Only if you have signed up, then you pass the exam, then you go there. They get to live interact with the teachers. One step. Second step, videos are always available. Now, the other way of doing it, what Soumya Krishnapur did in her first few sessions, that was in her, when she taught Shiksha and Kovida. What she would do was, she would leave it open for everyone. But then, she would keep pretty much everybody on mute and have a bunch of people who are very regular. She would very constantly observe, get them to be constantly on the front foot. So actively encourage them to participate in the class, actively engage with them, actively make sure the homeworks were properly graded and sent back only to those who are regularly submitting. And even if they raise questions, you would stop the class and answer. Whereas if you were passive, you would get a second chance. It's not that you wouldn't do it, but you would be second. You would only get an opportunity probably in the 3rd class or the 4th class from there. So this can be made in a more structured manner now with Zoom being more proactive. You know, what you could do is, there's an active class going on where 30 people are actively participating. The same thing can be, we are currently doing it in some form by live streaming it on YouTube. But alternately, the Zoom channel itself can be altered where they are always on mute. They do not get to sort of participate in the class, but they can view it. But having viewed there, if they have questions, if they have something, they can only type and send it. They'll get a secondary treatment as such. That's something we can also consider.
Astu. So it's a good suggestion, Ramesh ji, and we will think through that. And basically, it's there are many options, right? One is, hey, you can watch the videos and feel free to ask us any questions. We are available for you if you have any questions, because even the casual learner also will have questions because the person is learning. So we'll be happy to help you with that. That's one approach. The other approach is you can also attend the class and then but engage don't engage in a way that will take away the time from serious learners, because that's another approach. So like this, we have 2-3 approaches. So that's a good feedback, Banu Mahoday. I think we should take that up, and Karthik and others, we need to take it up and discuss it, I think, with all the other teachers and see what they think. Yeah, Karthik Mahoday.
Just one more point, Mahoday. What Vyoma is also doing is they're putting 2 people. One is the primary teacher. The other one is a co-teacher or somebody who keeps monitoring the set of questions that come from the secondary set of learners. If there is something very good and very important question that comes up, it is thrown out. But if it is something ridiculous, and if they are all something which has been covered, and if they are trying to drag the class down, those questions are not encouraged. Now, actually monitoring and getting the right questions on the board, that's a very good way of doing it as well.
Yeah, that's good, because the teacher can't afford to do all these things. I mean,
yes,
there is a class. This is
now
a
they have
serious
introduced
class.
2 teachers for Dvitiya, Sringeri Dvitiya.
Yes. Sura Saraswati Sabha, yes, Mahoday. I'm aware. So
we can I mean, that's why, I mean, everybody has a role to play here, because if somebody volunteers, I can be an assistant teacher, I can watch. That will help me also learn how to teach. I've learned the concept, but I want to learn how to teach. Then for that person, this could be a good training. And so then I'll monitor all the questions, and then I know what's new question, good question, versus what's a question that we wouldn't want to waste time on, etc. So that's a good suggestion. So we'll have to discuss that. Banu Mahoday, your feedback. I think I've said enough on this. We like to hear Banu's also say. Banu Mahoday, are you there? Okay. All right. Lakshmi Mahoday.
Mahoday, I have enrolled. I'm doing Dvitiya exam from Vyoma. And like Karthik Mahoday said, those who have enrolled, we get the link. And others can view it on YouTube at the same time. But they won't be participating.
Okay. They won't be participating means there's somebody who's enforcing that.
Yes, yes. Those who have registered, only they will be getting the link through our mail ID. And the others can view at the same time in the YouTube, because they will not be participating or interacting with the teachers.
I also enrolled, Mahoday. I'm also doing the Dvitiya exam.
Okay, who is talking now?
Gayatri.
Okay. Yeah, we can't see you, so that's why it's hard to figure out. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, good. So what Madhavi said just now is what was said just now is that in that Vyoma class, those who had not registered can view the video offline.
Yes, Mahoday, they can view the video live at the same time.
It's live streamed.
It will be live streamed, and they can see it there, but they won't be participating in any manner.
So Zoom live streaming can be done. So people who have registered come to Zoom. People who have not registered go to YouTube.
Right. Perfect.
Then there won't be any participation when you go onto the YouTube, but naturally.
this thing, live streaming versus this, how is it any different than sending the video after a day? Sending a YouTube link after a day. I mean, there is a delay. In one case, there is a delay. In the other case, there is no delay. But no delay also is of no use really because they are not engaged.
It's the same. When you watch it, it's the same.
No, it is the same. The happiness is that we are attending the class at the same time.
The difference is there is a schedule. If you are watching it
One day later,
live,
some moral, emotional satisfaction.
There is just one more thing.
And Ramesh Mahodaya will go on YouTube link.
There you go. Ramesh is saying, yeah, that's what I want.
Just one more point to add there. If the video is streamed live, you have the option of keeping the comment section open in the YouTube, where you can take live questions.
Chat box.
Chat box. That you cannot do in once the video is old.
Yes.
The chat box can be kept open. Those who log in, they can type in the questions. Somebody can read the questions. If they want, they can show. Otherwise, they can leave.
One more option you have is that the YouTube video is live only during the duration of the session. After that, it is not accessible.
Exactly.
It also can be done.
So anyway, we upload it, so that doesn't matter. Anyway, we upload YouTube videos.
But Vyoma is accessible all the time, Mahodaya.
Yeah.
Correct. No, you have an option.
Things are accessible, but it's only the emotional happiness that we are attending live.
No, when you're attending at the same time of the session, there is a schedule which you have to adhere to. Whereas watching an uploaded video, it is at your own convenience.
Correct. No, but the chat box makes the difference.
Yeah, chat box makes a difference.
Chat box makes a lot of difference.
Okay, good. So we got the idea, and I think the spirit is understood. Rameshji's question. Thanks for that suggestion, Rameshji. So we'll definitely, this is going to be a discussion point for us, and we have some ideas now. And so appreciate that input. The point is, hey, there is somebody who wants to, how can somebody engage who does not want to do homeworks and just want to listen and enjoy it, and then learn it in their own way. So without interfering with or without.
I think Ramesh's real point is that, there's a scheduled way of learning that we have brought in. And what this does is that it is a time-bound thing. When you say do the homework next week, it's a time-bound thing. We are imposing certain times and doing things. What he says is, hey, look, I don't want pressures on me. What I want is I want to learn at my own pace. Whether I take 5 years to pass an exam that is going to be in 3 months' time, it's okay. I'm free to do that. But please give me that option to do it. Don't shut me off. I think that's the point which I sort of.
And Rameshji is also saying exam also is there's no relevance to me at all. So he didn't even use the word exam. So let me just allow me to be my own. Yeah, that's fine.
Jayakumar, when we started the class, there were about 100 candidates were there. Now only 26. There were 74 candidates. They registered, they were interested. Those are the guys I was concerned. If we make it like this, YouTube Live and then Zoom, definitely a lot more people will participate.
Okay.
Maybe,
thank you.
Sorry to interrupt, Mahodaya. Maybe many people could have left because of homework pressure. Like Hariprasad, Mahodaya was asking, why did they leave? It could be homework pressure also.
Fair enough. No, I agree. It is homework also.
Some things are age related also.
Right. No, I think it's fair. Fair enough. So as long as there is a method, a way in which people can engage in any way they want, without disrupting or affecting the way the class actually moves, then that's fine. We are open to that, I think. Right, Karthik Mahodaya?
I'm Mahodaya. Completely agree.
Right. Fair enough. Good suggestion.
Everywhere, in all MOOCs, all OCWs, all these things is a standard discussion that comes. how do you distinguish between somebody who is very serious and who is very time-bound versus somebody who is there for interest?
The Shankar Mat people also, they also coach for exams from Sringeri, Sura Saraswati. They have once in 6 months, Mahodaya, the exams. But Vyoma schedules it once in a year. Like, for example, today was the exam for Dvitiya and all of them. That's 6 months.
Yes, yes. Even I took that.
Otherwise, Vyoma, like how Asha Seva Kendra schedules it for once in a year exams, the same way Vyoma also schedules it for once in a year.
Correct.
That's the thing.
Yeah, in fact, our Sasyam class took how long? 1.5 years?
Yeah, almost 1 year.
1.5 years.
64 sessions more there.
It started in November.
64 sessions. So
November it started.
Yeah, November. So November, December, January. So
November 3rd it started.
Okay, roughly 15 months. Okay, not bad. So we don't put a time on this, and we know it will take anywhere from 1 to 1.5 years. And we have to conduct the exam for Samskrita Bharati. So if we have extra time, then we have to kind of wait until that date comes. And so in a couple of, in Lata especially, they had done everything, and so they were reviewing the work for a couple of months, 3 months even, I think. And so since we are not administering the exams yet, and so yeah, good feedback.
I think Madhvi Modi has some feedback. She is on mute.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that I just heard 6 months exams, 1 year, 2 years exams. One feedback I want to provide on the Sasyam class is that we were not taught to take the exam. The way we were prepared is to have that foundation. It's not just to go and, you go and take the exam and you get 80%, 90%, right? It's not geared towards just taking the exam. So I want to make sure that going forward, we kind of continue that, Our intention, our goal is not to pass as many exams or have the certification. As somebody said, our Sasyam batch really had a strong foundation. There are students like me who couldn't really, focus, dedicate 100% of my time, but I really like the fact that, we had a very good, very strong foundation. So I just don't want to get into the practice of, every 6 months we have these exams and how do we prepare for the exam? I hope we don't get into that.
Satyam. So that's how I had taught the courses. That's how I started also. That the language has to be understood and enjoyed and mastered if possible. And so that's the approach. And whether an exam is there or not, it's irrelevant. But the exam provides us an opportunity to recap. That's what I enjoy about the exam. See, I mean, this Sasyam exam was simple. Everybody said it was so simple, and really did not test your knowledge of what you studied. Right. Really did not test. It's not in fact, none of us have written an exam like this in our life, and no school exam was this easy. And so, but you prepared for it, and so that preparation made you think through, recollect, etc. And that's great. I like that about this exam. That's about it. And this they're not. So anyway, that point is well taken, and so we are not really focused on exams, and it's critical that we understand the subject matter properly, systematic unfoldment of the subject, and then connecting it to our Shastram as and when possible, and that's our goal here, because we are all not small young children here, trying to pass exams and prove ourselves to others. We are not doing that. So, thank you. Any other points before we conclude?
Can we get some details on the next sessions or next levels, Jayakumarji? When are they going to start, or some expectations?
Yeah, so in March, so which is next month, March is not far away. And so that's the goal was to start in March. And we still have to figure out a few details like this prep, the warm-up, the orientation, right? Before the actual course starts. And so we will need that some time for that. If that happens, and if we feel, if the teachers feel that that should happen, and let all courses start at the same time, so then we may push it to April also, right? And so these possibilities are there. So it's going to be March, April timeframe that we will start these courses. And today is what, February, mid-February. So we should be able to, that's the time frame we are looking at.
So Lada material will be Pravesha, Parichaya?
Correct. So we're still modeling our content based on Samskrita Bharati's curriculum. So Pravesha, etc. curriculum. And so same curriculum will be there. And then the next, after this season, we'll be offering a Panini course also. There is a plan to do that. And one of our friends, Sharada Bhagini, is going to teach children, very young children, 3-year, 4-year-olds. We're going to experiment with that. And telling them stories and slokas and things like that. And she's very good at that. She likes to do it. So we're going to offer that. And
a lot of my friends and family members, they asked about classes for the kids, because I talked to them about my experience with Sasyam. So they want to know if there is any, there are going to be any classes for young kids. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Jayakumarji, because they are looking for, classes for like kids, like 6-7-year-old kids. They want to learn the language, but have like a different mode of teaching, right? So have some fun, because they cannot take the serious classes like adults.
Yeah, so there are two things. So there is, we're going to offer that class for children also, young children. So 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 5, 6, 7, that age group. And we won't offer it now, but we may offer it in a few months' time, maybe 3-4 months time frame. June, July, summer time frame, we may start offering that. And this thing that I just mentioned before that is just a storytelling kind of session for children, young children. And so we haven't decided the age group yet completely, but it's going to be for young children. And that's not language or anything like that, just stories and some slokas and things like that. Yeah. Any other questions? Krishna has Antiva?
Guruji, there was someone who had not spoken. Anu. Is there?
Namaste, Mahodaya.
Vadatu.
Shamita Mahodaya, I joined late. I had a very good experience taking the Sasyam class.
Na drishyate, we can't see you.
My video is off, Mahodaya. I'm actually...
Astu. Vadatu.
I had a very good experience. I didn't expect so much support from my teachers and the graders as well. They not only pointed out the mistakes, but they actually took the time to explain everything in detail. I mean, the graders could just say, okay, just go back to your class video, or, just ask your teacher the questions. So the support that I got actually encouraged me a lot to continue with the classes. And I'm very happy that I was able to complete successfully. And I'm actually looking forward for the next level. When I started off, I absolutely didn't have any confidence. I started off with the 10-day Sambhashana class from Samskrutam Bharati. And when I started the Sasyam course, I was a little stressed with the homeworks. But if not for the homeworks, I don't think I would have come this far, because that was it was actually going back, reviewing the class, and the homeworks helped me a lot. Otherwise, I don't think I would have been able to come this far and stayed on track. And the support that I got from Haripriya Mahodaya and Bhanu Mahodaya was, it was really amazing. When I missed few classes, I just texted them and said, okay, maybe, next year I'll do the Sasyam again. And they were, no, you just watch the videos. And they actually took some time to explain things to me, have a personal session. And so that kind of got me through this level.
बहु सम्यक्. भवती कुत्र वसति? भवत्याः पूर्णं नाम किम्?
अनुपमा महोदय.
अनुपमा. कुत्र वसति भवती?
हुब्ली नगरे वसामि.
सम्यक्, सम्यक्. Oh, सम्यक्. So hopefully you'll join the next class also.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, Mahodaya. And currently I'm doing the Samskrita Bharati Sambhashanam class again. So every time I think, oh, it's again Saha, Sa, that's what I have to learn. But I discovered that every time I attend it, I learn something new. So something that I missed the first time or second time. So even that is helping me a lot with my Sambhashanam.
So Tatra, so when I taught this system, I had made attending a Shibiram of Samskrita Bharati in their location almost mandatory, not mandatory, but encourage them to attend a Shibira. Because that's important. That's something we don't get here in this Zoom session. It was difficult, at least at that time. And so we have to put a lot of effort to make that happen online. Okay. But hey, if you could just walk there to your thing and then get, spend a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, something like that, and get some experience. That is a very useful. So that was always something I recommended. But but it's good that you are able to do that.
And our teachers, like if we tell them, okay, I attended it once, they insist that we take it as many times as we can, because as I said, I'm learning something new every time I take the course.
Bahut samyak.
Dhanyawad.
That's all. I think everyone is covered.
So I think then in that case, vayam punar milamaha prayah agdima mase va April mase milamaha. Anantaram ye sevam datum ichchati ityukte उत्तरपत्राणां परिशीलनम् इत्यादि नूतनवर्गे कृपया कुर्वन्तु. साहाय्यम् आवश्यकमेव. So be in touch. So we can get your help, and the more help we have, the more students also we can register. And because it takes a lot of effort to conduct one class, and that, and so keep that in mind. And anything else, Karthik Mahodaya, that we have to say? Nothing. So that's good. Bahut samyak. Samapayamah va? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
धन्यवादः सर्वेभ्यः.
धन्यवादः गुरुजी. धन्यवादः.
Nice to see all of you.
Thank you.
षड्वादने मेलिष्यामः.
षड्वादने अपि अस्तु खलु. इदानीम् अभवत् सार्ध एकादशवादनम्.
अभवत्.
श्वः प्रातःकाले मम वेदसम्भाषणमपि अस्ति.
एवं वा?
Kale Shattvadane Bhagavad Gita
class अस्ति.
Shadvadane.
अस्तु.
Dhanyawadaha Jayakumarji. Also, it's like no student left behind from now. Like President Bush said, no student left behind, like no child left behind. Now, no student left behind. Everybody will be there. Thank you. Thank you for considering.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Thank you, Ramesh. Appreciate that feedback. Hari Om.